mentality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not Haram beef.
My PDF books.
Peace.
Peace.
Everybody doing, man?
Magnificent.
Great. How you doing?
Marvelous.
Man, I'm doing good, man. Pardon me, I jumped on here late, man. I was getting some books and stuff for myself, man. I was doing a little study. I went to Hot Springs, Arizona today, to this like municipal bath place area. If y'all look it up, man, it's nice. When y'all know what's come back out here, we're gonna take y'all there, man. It's a nice outside place, man, where you can, replenish yourself outside in the sun, man, and just relaxing. But it's always good to be in nature. But peace, man. Peace.
Peace.
I wanted to have a little evening discussion, man. Like I said, I didn't want to deprive my brothers and sisters of us coming together in our time when we can to have these regular discussions, which we should, and share with the world. And if anybody have anything that they want to ask, it's always time. This is the time to ask questions. A lot of stuff come to me, about what more science is, and I'm glad I jumped on here and heard Lamar giving a little background of just experience of more science and their experience of coming through the science, what they've learned, what we continue to learn. And it is an eye-opening experience when you take the time to learn, when your heart is open. You will see a lot of stuff that you thought was more science is really not. You will see you're going to see where you might not see, but you will get the opportunity to investigate some things. So today we're going to spend a little bit of time with just ask some questions. It's no such thing as a dumb question, just to get a little clarity or just to get a little understanding to say, hey, let me study this a little bit further. So that's what this time for. And I want us to be open, and remember, it's no such thing as a dumb question, and we getting a little bit of clarity. So do anybody want to open the discussion up? Like I said, this is a free discussion, and it's just for brothers to give a little insight, or if you have any inquiries, let's see, can we get onto an agreement today, on how we move and what we think is right, what we may have heard, and to be able to just proceed in that right way. So I want to have this little bit of this cipher just to have these questions and answer a little bit. So do anybody want to open up this cipher? Anyone?
Yeah, I got something. I think
Yes,
that
sir.
we should start from the root, and then we could grow from there. Who are the misnomered Black people, and where do we come from? What's our history?
That's a good question. When people say, oh, I wish, man, well, do you have the One World Tartarians?
Yes, I got that book.
Okay. I'm glad you got that book. So in the One World Tartarians, I want you to go to the chapter. It's a chapter, if I'm not mistaken, it's the New World Order. Go to that, and then I can't think of the page, but it's gonna be. Go ahead. I'm sorry,
I
Noble.
can't go right. I'm sorry. I can't go right now. I'm I work nights, so I'm on my way to work, but I'm still here.
Yeah. I'm just leaving it for reference.
Yes,
If
sir.
anybody have it, at hand, but it's in One World Tartarians, and it's in the, and I'm gonna show you where to look for a certain thing to kind of answer your question and give you a little bit more insight. But in the One World Tartarian, I think it's the chapter, the New World Order. In that chapter, it's gonna answer a lot of the questions that you just asked, like where is the misnomer Black people from per se. It's gonna answer that back to Africa stuff. It's gonna answer that whole slave ship theory, the numbers, everything. So it's gonna answer a lot of your questions. But just from an educational perspective, if I was just asking it just on my base understanding, I would say misnomer Black people are from everywhere. I would say misnomer black people are not just from so-called the continent of Africa. I would say misnomer black people, you're going to find them everywhere. Now, they wouldn't call black people as we call it in modern, but you got it in Russia. You got the Russian icons. You got in Britain the ancient and modern Britons. So when a person say where the misnomer black people from, I say all over the United States of America. When you start doing the research, because black was never used to describe ethnicity in the first century. So that's why a lot of times we couldn't find ourselves, because we was looking for black people per se. Did I kind of answer that? Anybody with me?
Yeah, we with you, Sheik.
Yeah, we
Because
with
when we say black, I always ask people, you're not going to find black per se, just like in black history. You're not going to find black because we didn't identify as black in the first century. Black never described ethnicity. So when we were looking in first century, like we're looking for black people, you're really not going to find no one that identified as black per se. Black was an adjective. So when we say I'm a black person, really that's an adjective, and black will describe in the type of Moor, and so it's just so much we have to get, how can I say, into civics and into language as a people when we deal with ethnicity, when we say, well, where do black people come from? I think that's a misnomer, and so I think that's the mistake a lot of us and Moors and historians, we get caught up in that 14th Amendment stuff. We get caught up in that black thing, get caught up in calling ourselves black. So that's the whole object to me. When people say, well, you don't love your black skin. I didn't say I didn't love my black skin. I love black. I love purple. I love green. But when we say black people, I think we setting ourselves up for failure when we say black people, because black is an adjective.
So, Sheik, for that reference that you was trying to give Noble Simeon,
Mm-hmm.
do you know exactly where to? Can you guide me right quick?
Yeah. Okay. You in the One World Tartarian?
I am. Right now, I'm currently on page 3.
Okay. It's okay. You should go to the chat. Go to in the One World Tartarian where it say New World Order, and then it should get to a part where it got the so-called slave ship.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. I'm glad you took the time to do that, Noble. Yes. We're gonna do this work. And I'm glad you're doing that, because when people always say, well, things is not there, it's hidden. Everybody hid stuff from us. No, it's nothing hidden. You're just not introduced to it. I don't care if you're black, white, orange, purple, or green. If you're a real historian, you're going to tell the truth. And science will always tell the truth. I don't care, So I'll wait till you get to it, but it should be in that chapter. And you should see the part where it have the slave ships. Because we went over it before.
It's gonna give a picture, right? It's gonna have a picture of the slave ship on here.
Yep. I'm trying to think what chapter it is. I know. Malik know that chapter because we went over it so many times. Let me see. Let me look, because I got to pull it up too. Who are the Tartarians? Maps. Let me see. Man. And I got all my stuff packed up because I'm moving. Man, I could have pulled it out. I got it all highlighted. Man, if you find it, man, if you find it real fast, let me know. We got time. We got time. But I'm glad Noble Simeon asked that question. And now we can give a little backdrop behind it. And this can clear a lot of stuff up. You see stuff on TikTok and people be asking certain questions. Well, this book, One World Tartarians, when everybody be talking about the Tartarians, it's all here. Let me see it. Did I find it? Yep, I think I found it. Okay, start at page maybe 19.
19, okay.
If I'm not mistaken. I think we can start with page 19, where it says history lied, agreed upon, the New World Order, historians tell us, and written by the victors.
Yeah.
So let me see. Let me see. It started at one part where it say, absolutely nothing was invented or discovered by scientists and intellectuals of the 19th and 20th century. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
high civilization Tartar Aryan extracted electromagnetic energy from the ether through the star fourth strongholds. So it's giving you a little highlight about how these things happen. But I want to get to a specific part. You got another piece of art on the Tartar history by Martino Martini. This was in 1654, and it's translated from Latin. And when you look at this, it's there. You know, so much history. When people be like, "Where it's from?" We haven't been introduced to it. It's right in our face. Revisionist history of most ancient Chinese history. You know, by A. Fonico, history, science, or fiction. So all this stuff is giving you a highlight of history, adding up to that question that Noble Simeon asked. So I'm trying to get to that part. Let me see. Voyage ambassadors. Here you got books, you got documents. Who were the Tartarians by writers in first century? You know, let me get to this high part. Let's see. Epoch of the 8th century. Trying to find it with the slave ship. Okay, during the world to independent America. Okay, so right here when you got the USA, when it says, let's go back to the question of when and how the USA was established. During the War of Independence of North America in 1775, 1798, an independent state, the USA was formed, you know? And here we release the surprisingly coincidence with the end of the war, with the
Shoot, I
pleurisy.
think I'm quite sure the exact part that you're looking for is on page I just had it. Forgive me. It's on page
So,
73.
you know what? Let's be quiet, Edward. She talking about
So
something.
since I got it right here, I just start reading off until you get there.
Okay.
It says the first natives of America, the Black Moors. Arthur and historian Chancellor Williams said the original Moors, like the original Egyptians, were Black Africans. The 16th century English playwright William Shakespeare used the word Moor as a synonym for African. His contemporary Christopher Marlowe also used African and Moor interchangeably. Black soldiers, specifically identified as Moors, were actively recruited by Rome and served in Britain, France, Switzerland, Austria, Hungary, Poland, Romania. Saint Maurice, the patron saint of medieval Europe, was only one of many black soldiers and officers under the employ of the Roman Empire. And I remember that day we went to it was a book. I think it was Moors in Europe or something like that, and they had
Mhm.
pictures of Saint Maurice.
Yep. Yep. With the crosses and everything in Europe, all the chairs and everything, you know?
Mm. And like he was saying, that was around the medieval times, and that was way before
Yeah.
the establishment of the United States of America. So that's one
Yeah.
part. You know, we got a rich history. So I continue. Although generations of Spanish rulers have tried to expunge the era from historical record, recent archaeology and scholarship now shed fresh light on the Moors who flourished in Al-Andalus for more than 700 years, from 711 AD until 1492. The Moorish advanced in mathematics, astronomy, art agriculture, helped propel Europe out of the Dark Ages and into the Renaissance. The Moors brought enormous learning to Spain that over centuries would percolate through the rest of Europe. The intellectual achievement of the Moors in Spain had a lasting effect. Education was universal in Moorish Spain, while in Christian Europe, 99% of the population was illiterate, and even kings could neither read nor write. At a time when Europe had only 2 universities, the Moors had 17 located in Almeria, Cordova, Granada, Jaén, Malaga, Seville, and Toledo. In the 11th and 12th centuries, public libraries in Europe were non-existent, while Moorish Spain could boast of more than 70, including one in Cordova that housed hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, just like the BBT.
Yeah.
Universities in Paris and Oxford were established after visits by scholars to Moorish Spain, It was the system of education taken to Europe by the Moors that seeded the European Renaissance and brought the continent out of the 1,000 years of intellectual and technological gloom in the Middle Ages. And that's, trust me, that's just the start.
Yep, yep. And then you got the part where it's destroying the identity of the Black Moor Tartarians. See, now you start getting more in modern history when you be like, huh? Because in the Los Angeles Times in 1990, it reported that when Napoleon visited the Sphinx in 1798, everything but the head was buried in the sand. His soldiers repeatedly used the Sphinx for target practice, while the Sphinx had already suffered nose damage prior to Napoleon. The greatest destruction took place during Napoleon's occupation of Egypt, as documented by Tony Browder and testified by the collection of the Sphinx portraits he assembled on page 225 of his book, Now Valid Contributions to Civilization. And these 6 portraits, drawn over a period of 100 years from 1698 to 1798, are the only current evidence available which shows the progression of the nose destruction. Besides the Sphinx, a large percentage of Africanoid Kemetic statues are missing the noses, whereas European-looking figures are intact. Faces of Africoid sculptures were also altered to appear Caucasoid by Kemet's European conquerors. A Sphinx statue on display in the British Museum admits that the face of the statue was reworked during the Roman occupation of Egypt. Reporting on the riddle of the facial identity of the ancient Egyptians, Count C. Vonley, a distinguished French scholar who visited Egypt in the late 1700s, wrote with astonishment, "When I visited the Sphinx, its appearance gave me the key to the riddle. Behold, that the head typically Negro in all its features." He later added, "The Egyptians were true Negroes of the same type as all native-born Africans, but the New World Order Romanov dynasties would often deface statues of the past monarchs in order to erase or diminish their legacy. In these cases, the removal of the nose would be accompanied by other more extensive facial disfigurements, as well as destruction of inscriptions and symbols of office." So when you look at all these symbols, when you go to Egypt, a lot of stuff is erased, the nose, the words that was written about them, you know? And another huge New World Order lie. This is more specific what Noble Simeon was asking me. Now we getting with the facts. People want the facts. Here it is. And all our scholars and all our preachers and ministers, they just been lying to you. Even my cousin I was with today, he's not all the way into Moorish science, but as I'm resurrecting him, he's giving that Christianity back. Not for me. He like, cuz this all fake. The way it's been taught, he was like, it's fake. He like, it's just fake. And when I'm talking to him, explaining, he like, well, see, I get it when you speak, but when others, it's all a fallacy. When you're trying to make it, when you're trying to persecute someone with something. But here go the big lie. Some 12.5 million Africans were taken from their home and forced aboard slave ships that were destined for the New World. About 10.7 million people survived the horrors of the Middle Passage between 1526 and 1866, only to end up in bondage on sugar, rice, cotton, and tobacco plantations throughout the Americas and the Caribbean. The transatlantic slave trade is the largest forced migration in history. Misnomer Black people are indigenous to the Americas.
Come on.
Black Native Americans, Islam, are not a result of the so-called Red Indian mixing with slaves. The so-called, that's right. The so-called Red Indian comes from mixing with the European colonists and the Asians that were in America before Columbus. So when Europeans, we talk about the Caucasus Mountain, you mean the Asians from the Caucasus Mountain, Caucasian from the Caucasus Mountains? See, I can get all the way politically correct and make a person really sit on their hands, you know, from wisdom and education. And the first Native Americans were Mongolian Tartarians. Melville Herkovitz, here go another European scholar, a European anthropologist, was one of the originators of this out of Africa fake theory. Herkovitz never had any historical, archaeological, or anthropological proof that Black people of the Americas ever derived from West and North Africa. The same way with Zachariah Stinson, when our brothers be talking about, oh, Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki is some alien. Zachariah Stinson ain't have no history of that. Zachariah Stinson ain't read no tablets. It's all pseudo. And when those brothers in the conscious community be using Zachariah Stinson as a reference, you got to run from them because it's pseudo, point blank. And consequently, Herkovitz crafted the theory that blacks arrived in America from the transatlantic slave trade, which allegedly brought in more than 10 million so-called African slaves. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's correct the teachings. According to the National Archives of Spain and the Smithsonian records, there was no evidence to prove 70,000 ships with black Africans ever sailed to the Americas. Where they at then? Where all these slave ships at? If all these slave ships, where they at? We can find some stupid ass dinosaur bones, but you can't find no slave ships. Man, miss me with that cap.
I seen one time where they were saying that they found Noah's Ark. So if you can find Noah's Ark.
What'd you say, Brian?
I said, I'm just saying, according to the story, if you can find Noah's Ark, you guys better find some other boats too. Come on.
It's a fallacy. Even with these dinosaur bones, it's like, come on, man. We know all this stuff. We can't tell the history of who we are. Like our history is totally erased. Stop the cap.
Mm-hmm.
Melville carried out the teachings of his mentor, Franz Boas. I'll give y'all a lot of books by Franz Boas. I'll give you everything for you to compare. And you can be like, wait a minute, this don't line up. To make the original copper color races, because that's what we are. I don't care what nobody say. The 1828 Webster Dictionary. What is an American? The copper color races found here by the Europeans. You can't find them that's already occupying it. We are the copper color races, period. The Americans that's on the natives to the land, point blank, and to make original copper color races of the Americas inferior and the European presence superior. And before this time, blacks coming from Africa through the transatlantic slave trade story never, ever existed. Never existed. And as a result, Melville's work has been fragmented and used as propaganda by writers like Harold Colander and Alex Haley. Remember I told y'all Harold Colander, the one that wrote the book, The African, the one Alex Haley plagiarized, because Negroes always plagiarize the European bull crap, just like some Willie Lynch, just like some damn Willie Lynch and all that fake stuff. It ain't one. It ain't no Willie Lynch. And Harold Colander made all that up with that out of Africa stuff, the transatlantic slave trade through his hit movie Roots. It's all propaganda. And Americans were black people, and they were not brought here on ships. So instead, they were enslaved right here on their own lands, on your own land. And if they were brought on ships, the numbers are extremely exaggerated. If we're going to do the numbers, it was published that 15 million to 20 million slaves arrived in the Americas between 1540 and 1850. That's over a 310-year period. But according to U.S. history books, the Stewart synopsis points out a few questions that should be examined. Over a period of 300 years, it's fair to say that 60,000 slaves were transported annually to the Americas, or has the transportation of slaves to Americas been one big myth? Because the largest seagoing vessel carried 400 slaves, but not all of the ships were that large. You got to remember, let's do the number. The time of passage was 3 to 4 months. That means 200 vessels. 200 vessels, ships per year, would have to travel carrying 300 people. One ship could make 3 passages per year. But the transatlantic slave trade database says that there were 1,100 to 1,400 voyages made over a 300-year period. And if that's the case, family, and each ship carried 400 people, the total number would be 560,000 Africans were transported. And it still don't add up. You see, when I told y'all men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. When you start playing numbers with me and I'm a numbers head, I'm going to fact check you. You already know over 83% of all Americans were with African ancestry have Native American blood, native to the land. I ain't say Indian. I said Native American, native to the land. You say what, Brian?
No, I was repeating the same thing you said. I guess we said it in a synchronistic fashion. You know what I'm saying? Native American.
Yes. The Native American tribes helped slaves escape, or were Americans with African ancestry already part of the Native American nations? See? And after 20 years, the royal adventurer with its 15 ships, had transported between 90,000 and 100,000 slaves. That's a long way from 15 million to 20 million slaves who were supposedly brought to the Americas. Doesn't that leave a little over 14 million to 19 million people not accounted for? Where'd they go? What's up with that? You know, or was the brown birth rate more accelerated than the European? No disrespect. So when you calculated the median of 15 to 20 million, you would be 17.5 million divided by 400 people. The largest slave vessels, that comes out to about 43,750 trips, y'all. You can't even show no record where that many trips occurred or the number of trips calculated by the so-called experts. So when you look at this so-called slave ship thing, the figures existed of 27,000 and 35,000 voyages. The same thing happened with the so-called Holocaust in Germany during the World War II. 6 million people were supposedly killed, but there are not that many names referenced who died, totaling those 6 million. In fact, the official story, it reduced the number to under 1 million people. And the story synopsis lists these Black native tribes. Even what's her name? Jane Smith. Her sister, when she talk about the Holocaust, Europeans will tell you like it's the numbers ain't real. And so listen to the Europeans. You ain't got to listen to me. They'll tell you. The story synopsis lists these Black native tribes, the Washita of the Louisiana. Now they talk about the Washita, the Dundee Moors, Empress Gostin L. Bay. When I showed y'all the Louisiana Purchase wasn't no purchase, it was stolen land. The Yamanese of the Southeast, the Iroquois, the Cherokee Indians, the Blackfoot, the Pequot, and the Megans of Connecticut, the Black Californians, the Califans, the Californians literally means black, after the name of the great Mama Kali, Queen Khalifa, the Olmecs of Mexico, the Darinite of Panama. And so when they say in black, when they say in dark, they let you know that skin, they just giving credit to that, to the blackness, but not black per se. Please stay in context.
The same way somebody would describe a shirt is the same way they're describing the skin. They're not saying that that's their nationality. They're just saying they have a dark skin. You know what I'm saying? Just like you see somebody with a black shirt or a dark brown shirt, you would say, oh, that's a dark brown shirt, or that's a black shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's like a lot of my dark skin partners from India and Egypt with straight black hair. They dark brown like me and you. They don't say they don't identify as black per se because they know. They say, yeah, their skin is dark, but they identify to their culture. They identify to who they are. And it's like us. Black is not a culture. It ain't no land of the blacks. It's just not. You know, it's not.
Even just looking at the description of these tribes, you see that the Washita was in the Midwest in Louisiana, and then you see the Darren Tate or the Darrentai or Darrenite. They was in Panama, and then you got Olmecs in Mexico. And you got the Black Californians in California. So that's a wide range of geography. You know what I'm saying? That's a big geographical range. You know what I'm saying? To say that one land is one black people's land. Because if that's the case, all the people that's trying to get allodial titles and deeds for the American land, they should be going over to Mexico too.
See? You see, now you see what I'm saying, Brian? When they playing a dangerous game, and you just said it. You playing a dangerous game. They playing a paper terrorist game. Absolutely, Brian. You know, 4.25 million African slave ships to Brazil and Mexico. The story goes over the course of 300 years from the 16th to the 19th centuries. The Brazil imported around 4 million slaves, so 40% of the total transatlantic slave trade. So when we talk about this transatlantic slave trade, what about the Spanish acquisition? We talk about all this stuff, but we missing the whole global aspect. The overwhelming majority came from the former Portuguese colony of Angola, located on the Atlantic coast of Southern Africa. On July 9th, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, named Bolingo Wharf a World Heritage Site. Remember this, y'all. Research this stuff. Research everything I'm telling you. Mexico claims African slaves as well. A total of 186,766 Africans were imported into Mexico during the 300 years of Spanish slave trade. I said Spanish slave trade. Looking at the appearance of modern Mexicans, it becomes clear that the noun just made up the number without any proof of evidence of the veracity of these claims. There is no way 186,766 thousand black-skinned Mongols could be responsible for the pigmented side of a million light and dark-skinned Mestos, because the American Negro or Indian or Blackamoor or Mongolian Tartarian, which is all the same, is the oldest man on earth. The oldest chromosome on earth was found in a man from where? South Carolina. South Carolina, Brian. South Carolina.
Where Peter
And
Pablo from? You heard?
You say what, Brian?
I say where Peter Pablo from? You heard me?
You feel me? You feel me? From South Carolina, and it's unrelated to so-called African lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you, just like a prophet was telling us, Noble Drew Ali ain't calling us no Africans, no Indians. We are what? Moorish Americans, you know? And and there are no pyramids in Americas than anywhere else. You know, so when we start looking at history, when we start researching things, the Spanish and the Portuguese captured and so what they call Negro de Terra. So when you look up that, start asking this stuff. Get your vocabulary up, because they sold them. Who? Your so-called people that you talk about some white man, but even when I talk about the Arab slave trade, and they called you Negro de Terra into European slave markets. The Dutch and the English didn't even enter Africa until the late 1700s. Yet slavery started in 1492. Columbus was a Portuguese Moor named Ferdinand Zarco. Y'all heard me. I say it again. Columbus was a Portuguese Moor named Salvator Ferdinand Zarco. And many of the European monarchs in Europe were also Negroes who came to America as they were being pushed out of Europe by white European Catholics. Remember when I talk about the symbols? See, all this stuff is wrapped up in religious history. That's why they don't want to keep you. They want to keep you subjugated. You'll see they ain't gonna never bomb no black churches because they know the black churches keep Negroes stupid. No disrespect. They say, oh, you can go to church and do 3 amens and you can go right back out in the world. That's catechism. That's catechism. You ain't changed nothing, you know? And the conquistadors were sent to the West Indies to destroy the kingdoms of the blacks and reduce them to servitude and slavery. Yes. What did you say, Sheik? I said the conquistadors, those Spaniards. I'm giving you history. You can be mad all you want to. It's in history. It's in there. Read it. It was known as, remember I tell y'all the dumb diverses? I hope all my educators and stuff is here. Research the dumb diverses and the doctrine of discovery and the Inquisition, and gave Catholic kingdoms the right to do what? Murder, rape, and enslave and torture all those not under the authority of what? The Vatican and the Pope, aka the Catholic Church. Do y'all know what the dumb diverses was, Brian? Do they know what the dumb diverses and the doctrine of discovery and the Inquisition was? That's all brothers and sisters got to learn when they arguing of who we are. We not this, we not that. Man, you need to sit down and listen. You know? Right. America is the old world, and Columbus called his first voyage the last crusade to conquer the holy lands of Mexico and Peru, which means Heru, or house of Heru, or Jerusalem, which became Jerusalem. It became Jerusalem. It is also known as the navel of the world. Teotihuacan means city of Tehuti or Tat, and Tenochtitlan, which became Mexico City, means city of Enoch. But then they talk about Enoch, they talk about all this stuff in the Bible, but then they take all these books out the Bible to get you confused. Man, the Bible speaks about almost 23 books. What? The Bible speaks to 23 books. The Bible, the one that everybody got in their hand. So how can the Bible that you got in your hand speak of the book of Enoch, speak of all these people, but then you don't have the book of Enoch? That don't even make sense. It's going to whoop your butt. And Mexico is named for Moses, or Mexi, like Moshe. It's just facts. And the Old Testament contains volcanoes, corn, bears, tobacco, all which are native to where? All which are native to where, y'all? Anybody with me? Hello? I hope y'all with me. The Old Testament contains volcanoes.
The Americas, I'm here.
Thank you. I mean, I hope people listening. This should be inspiring people. This should
This is
inspire
gold.
everyone. The Old Testament contains, if you read the Bible, I don't read in the Bible. The Bible talk about no damn dinosaurs. Then people talk about the dragons when they talk about this and Bahamas. Don't, man, I don't want to hear it. But anyway, the Old Testament contains volcanoes, corn, bears, tobacco, all which are native to the Americas. Utah is Judah and contains the city of Moab. The Great Salt Lake is the Dead Sea. There are more pyramids and megalithic structures in the Americas than anywhere else, including the Nile Valley. But the New World Order tells the story backwards. The Negro is the Indian. Remember, I give y'all the document. The Negro is the Indian, aka the Blackamoor. It's all there. If y'all don't got that document for me, you need it. It's gonna answer so much. You're gonna look back at your friends that might be Muslims, especially the ones from the Nation of Islam. You're gonna be like, why you act like you don't know what I'm talking about? And this paperwork was passed to all y'all Nation of Islam Negroes in the 30s and then reissued in the 60s. All of y'all know this. So if you were elder and you part of the Nation of Islam, it was passed out. So you can't lie. You can't act like you don't know what I'm saying. If you say, well, you were elder, you part of the nation, and you part of the Nation of Islam, well, you got to have a document. If not, your elders keeping the stuff from you. That's why I be telling people, I'll let a person do all they arguing and all they snot come out their nose, and then I just start putting out all your documents. I'm just being honest. They're tired talking all that. We don't know this, that, and the other. And I say, man, shut up. And then I start putting out all your documents. I start putting out everything from the Nation of Islam. All the documents where Fire Muhammad was in Detroit, and they passed out ID cards, all that. And they was teaching more science, all of it, all of it. And when did it stop? It stopped with a certain point to keep Negroes subjugated because Negroes got paid to keep you on that black mission. The same way as the Big Six, those black preachers got that. They split $250,000 to keep you on that Negro slave stuff. The same way in your Exhumed of the Nation on page 39, when Delegate Rawlins telling you when they what they call you this year, Negro, what they call you this year, black, what they call you this year, Asiatic, what they call you this year. Yes, y'all, it's there.
It's
you know,
Afro-American now.
You see, it's backwards. Yes. Yes.
Chiming in real quick. Just on the whole pyramid thing, just for people to, just for edification, and you kind of do your own research. You go research what the oldest pyramids on the planet are. Because when you think about Watson Break mounds, right? There's just stuff that you can find right here in the Americas. They're older than everything over there in quote unquote Africa. So I've asked somebody one time, just so I understand the story correctly. You're telling me that we were living over there, but we didn't build any pyramids. We were kidnapped and brought over here and built a whole bunch of pyramids, then went back over there and built the pyramids and said that we was from over there and not from over here. It doesn't make sense.
None, Lamarck, none. And the Negro is the Indian or the copper-colored indigenous people of the Americas, who is actually red-skinned. Who is actually red-skinned? That's my question. Many think black people, many think black people are black, yet there are many shades of copper, which is the color of the earth. See? And if you look in old dictionaries, you will see that nigger and Indian were synonymous, and that color is simply short of copper color. I'm fact checking. Color is simply short for copper color. Remember, they take stuff off. It's like Hansel and Gretel to draw up the breadcrumbs. They'll be like, well, damn, but it's something that goes with that. I got all old dictionaries. I used to tell people when school closed, get those old dictionaries, because all these modern dictionaries, they took it out. I got all the old dictionaries from school. I collect everything. I used to go to the Goodwill. I got them all. I got all the dictionaries that prove what I'm saying. They changed it on you to draw you up. Academia did this.
The original definition of American was the copper colored races or the copper colored people found here by the European, correct?
Yep. Why you think they keep changing or titles from Indian to Negro to color to African American? The Blackmore, the Negro, is the most copied man on the earth. Even when you look at the Toltecs, the Mayans, the Aztecs, etc., all were misnomer black Moors. I don't get it why people over here today, we're not Moors, or the Moors enslaved this. Man, your brother shot your cousin, your uncle a PDF, and you ride with him right now. And you talk about some of the Moors did this. That's an excuse. Most historians, anthropologists, scholars refer to the Olmecs as the mother culture of prehistoric Mexico. The presence of the Olmecs predate the Mayan civilization by 1,500 years and the Aztecs in Mexico by 2,500 years, which would indeed make the oldest pre-Columbian civilization society in Mesoamerica. Emerging from the jungles of Mexico, southernmost Gulf Coast, the Olmec influence spread through Central America, manifested itself in art, architecture, religious rituals, and other areas. When people go to Cancun, Mexico, but a lot of them never go to the Olmec Museum. There is enough evidence from the architectural digs to support the idea that the Olmec civilization possessed several of the characteristics of a civilization: a social structure, a political structure, an economic structure, religion, and art. Even when you look at these heads, look at these heads. Look at the face of the Olmec colossal heads. The stone's representations of human heads sculptured from large basalt boulders, ranging in height from 1.17 to 3.4 meters to 3.8 to 11.2 feet, y'all, and weigh between 6 and 50 tons. 6 and 50 tons. So this is what I tell people. What group of people gonna make some people, or these some aliens? No, they making it to their gods. They making their gods that look like them. Ain't no group of people gonna make some group of gods unless you went to an area and you seen these type of people. You know, the heads are a distinctive feature of the Olmec civilization and ancient Mesoamerica. All portray mature individuals with fleshly cheeks, flat noses, slightly crossed eyes. Their physical characteristics correspond to a type that is still common among the inhabitants of Tabasco and Veracruz. The backs of the monuments are often flat. You remember, even in African culture, they do their heads like that. The boulders were brought from Sierra de Los, you know, big mountains. Who's doing this stuff? You know, even page down when you see the Russians and they had their uniforms on and they be trying to have their hair a certain way. Look at these brothers. It's all copy. Go back. You passed it. All the hair. That's how they pattern everything off of you. It's all influence. I got the book about the Americas. When you look at all this stuff, it's there. Plus, most of the living quarters around the ceremonial center were abandoned in 1150 AD. And there is evidence of a huge fire sweeping through the city at that time. When you look at Montezuma and you look at all these pictures of the Americas, the title is Montezuma Rex Ultimus Mexenormus. It's the map maker John Ogilvy in London, 1671. Description: striking example of this famous portrait of Montezuma, the last king of the Aztecs. Montezuma is shown in full war dress with a picture of modern Mexico City behind him. The portrait is from John Ogilvy's Complete History of America, one of the most influential works of the 17th century. Look at that picture. Yeah,
That's
Brian.
man, that's amazing.
That's clean. That's clean. And if I'm not mistaken, ain't Montezuma's castle right there in Arizona?
Yep. And going to Vegas, they got the whole Montezuma Museum. Absolutely. Absolutely, Noble Lamar. See, this is the history what our kids need to see. Look at Mexico's second president and first and only black president, Vincent Guerrero, on August 10th, 1782, February 14th, 1831. He was a major military leader during Mexico's war for independence, and as president ended slavery in his nation on September 15, 1829. He was in office from 1829 to December 17th, 1829. Dressed to the nines in the 1900s. Look at this now. When we look at pictorials, the Tartarians were natty, dressed in haberdashers. So when Noble Simi was like our dress about how we be debonair And when I call myself the Moorish haberdasher, I'm bringing back culture. Our dress, we supposed to be Moorishly fresh. We supposed to do this. They put on their hats, they copying you. They copy you, then they strip us from our turbans, they strip us from our attire, and then look at us. We left as some slaves, you know? So I don't want to go too far in the Tartarian. I just want to give that little pictorial, you know, and I always ask people to study further, because when we say where do black people come from, man, the Tartarian map shows hundreds of cities. I'm on page 85. You can also see that Florida and Cuba are named in maps. When you look at these maps, like, it's all here. So we say, are we from Africa? No. The one world Tartarian is gonna tell the truth. When you in chapter 5, the flat earth Tartarians, it's gonna show maps. And once again, we see the Knights Templars depicted getting directions from the Tartarians. So if Brian still had this map up, all this stuff is on the maps. You can find it. Even when we talk about Mansa Musa, we all see Mansa Musa on the map. That map is written, is the cartographer, those were Europeans that did all this, the cartographers. Even in the Negro question, when I tell y'all the slave ship from Judah, it's gonna back what I'm saying again. These is real maps. You can see the image of unicorns, female-headed lions and lizards, flying turtles, and centaurs, half human, half man. It's very likely that these creatures existed, and the Tartarians possess cloning skills more advanced than today. See, a lot of stuff be in there. When you look at these maps and you look close, you be like, where do these images come from? Why? How? You start asking yourself questions. You start looking at maps. What was there? History, you know? It's there. Any questions? It's there. It's so much that history will show you when you be able to touch it, because there's nothing new under the sun. It's all there. If it's a new world order, then it had to be an old world order. You know,
Right.
when you look at Fort Pike in New Orleans, Louisiana, the free is, and when you look at Fort Pike, I'm on page Brian 91. When you go to that, remember, I have to fast forward because I want to show y'all all symbology. So when you get to page 90, start right there, Brian. Go back. You will see the one world Tartarians. You will see Fort Monroe, Fort Ontario, Fort Starwicks, Fort Jefferson. Now all this stuff is in the Americas. Now look at all these signs and symbols as y'all looking at that. Continue to go down. Look at those signs and symbols. And then when you look at all these forts, and you will get to forts, you get all these forts in the Americas. Fort Henry, Baltimore, Maryland. This American Star Fort, built in 1798, built the following the war on 1812, is most famous as the inspiration for the national anthem, Francis Scott Key's Star Spangled Banner, which he penned after the Battle of Baltimore. I said after the Battle of Baltimore during the War of 1812. Yeah, look at Fort Henry, Baltimore, Maryland. Look at Fort Stanwix, Rome, New York. Look at the 11-pointed star, that Fort Pike, New Orleans, Louisiana, the United States of America. The Statue of Liberty sits on, it's called the hendigram. The hendigram. It represents the cliffot. This literally means peels, shells of husk of the tree of knowledge. Of the tree of knowledge. When you look at that symbology, look at it. Then when you look at the Fort Pike, New Orleans, Louisiana, what it look like? Don't it look like the Freemason symbol? Blow that up. This, I'm showing you symbology. I'm showing you places where they're not gonna tell you. The European gonna tell you. You don't gotta listen to me. Look at the star forts worldwide. In the Netherlands, in Italy, Canada, Germany. All pictorial. When you look at these signs and symbols, when I be telling brothers, when they be like, all these Europeans, it's all European Mason. I told y'all, the compass and the square, they pattern everything off what's above and what's below. I keep telling people, all the Masonic symbols, the rose and the cross, every symbol, this nothing but what they saw. And we giving all our credit away. Look at all these signs and symbols. Look. Even on our Solomon's key, all that stuff, the master key, the stone that was rejected. You seeing all this stuff. But people's eye is not open because they want to keep us blind. So I just wanted to show a little bit of that. I want to be too long. I want to keep showing things. I want to keep showing people that who we are historically, because we have to agree as one, just like everybody else. That's the only way it's going to happen. We can't say we this, we that, and the other. It's not going to work, you know. And we can't be mad at history. We can't let people give a bad rap for more science. So I wanted to just illuminate that part as well. Somebody just hit me up. They was like, "Sheik, would you please talk about?" I won't say names, but I will say this as I close. You're going to find so many people that's going to come with that paper terrorist stuff. You're going to find so many dudes that's doing that. They're going to act like they rich. I hate to say names, but somebody asked me, please say names. Listen, I'll say one name. Like Simeon talked about the dude, what was his name? Kill him, you know. And I say, why would you deal with a person with a fictitious name? If I'm dealing with someone, dealing with my social security number, doing all that, and I'm taking some course of someone, I don't even know your name. So when you say, well, I deal with Bootney Farnsworth, or I deal with this type of person, that man, you don't even know who this person is, really. You're dealing with a fictitious person. And then I know another brother, I hate to say it, he's an older dude. He used to be flashy. He used to be on the internet, act like he can teach you this. His name was Jonah Bay. You can go on the internet and see all this stuff. They be having these cars and these Lamborghinis, and they be selling people these packages. And I say, dude, I've been around too long. I know all the games. None of them will come to me with that cap. They're trying to talk to me on closed doors because they're selling you a dream, and which most Negroes think money gonna save them. And I'm telling you, it's not. That's how Moors get caught up with that crap. Somebody is dangling something over you, and you looking at it like, ooh, he got a Lamborghini. Like Lamarck was saying, people get into this, think they finna magically get something. Ooh, look where he living, or this, that, and the other. And so you would spend all your hard money trying to take some course to get that, and all you got to do, they gonna keep spinning you because you got to keep spending money. You got to keep taking a course. It's like a rabbit hole. It's like, and once you open it, you're gonna go down and down and down and down and down and down. And that's what that's all about. And so I tell people, you can find what you're looking for. How? Because it's on the internet. You know, and everybody know I'm being honest. You can look up all this stuff, what I'm saying. And to a regular person, you'll be like, dang, ooh, that sounds good. But then when you get into it, you'll be like, why am I doing this? These people are going on the internet and Amazon and buy a fake graduation cap. Don't y'all ever seen the doctoral caps when people graduate, when they get their doctoral? When I finish my doctoral, if I ever finish it, you know, if I feel like it's different from my master's cap and gown. When I got my master's, we got this little cape thing go around our neck. But your graduation cap when you're doctoral is different. And so somebody showing me this person, I said, he got on a doctoral hat. And it was like, Sheik, what you mean? I said, this person that went on Amazon and went and looked up graduation caps and all that stuff and bought a freaking doctoral cap. Do y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Y'all can, and I tell people, I said, if anybody go that far to defraud someone, it's a doctoral cap. I know what it is. I'm in academia. So if Brian got on a doctoral cap off knowledge, off top, I'm gonna raise my hand and say, Noble Brian, where you get your doctorate from? Then what you gonna say?
I got my master's, I ain't got my doctorate.
I got my, no, I ain't got it. But it's a doctoral hat though. It is. That you get that from when you graduate, from when you get your doctoral degree. So if you don't have your doctoral degree and you are more, why the F you got on a goddamn graduation college doctoral hat and your ass don't got on the fez? Because you can't promulgate that crap with that fez on, because it'll burn you. And I'm coming as an official. You have that fez on, you lying, I'm popping up off the top because I can. You lying. And that's why they won't have that fez on teaching that. Because when you put that fez on doing that, I'm coming. And so you would go get a fake doctoral hat, you wear a baseball cap, because you can't put that fez on and act like you righteous. You just like the clandestine European. You in the same level, brothers. And it's no disrespect. And so when I tell people, I say, this is old. And it's a whole bunch of people with that base stuff, they've been doing it. And you can go on these people website pages, no disrespect, they've been doing this forever. You can research them right now, all on YouTube, take my course. It's the same, he talking the same talk as the dude Simeon was asking, the Don killing dude. No disrespect. So if you got something special, you say, and then this person saying the same thing, and both of y'all selling some shit, what's going on, Brian? Y'all selling some shit that I can do for free? If you say, if it's this redemption package, but you can find groups of people like Simeon, he said either the Don killing dude, and then you can find this dude, Jonah Bay, saying the same shit. Now what? But and they both selling a lifestyle the same way Polite did. What we talking about? The same way in the conscious community, that's what happened. Y'all mad? The same way the dude from China, and he had his flag. I forget his name. He was all in the conscious community, and he was selling people travel ID. Same stuff. And he back on the internet now. His name was Royale, Bay Royale. I told y'all I'd have been around. I could start naming them all. You'll be like, yep. I know some other dudes that was with my man them that got arrested on the highway, and they ran to China. 2 dudes. And so if you're looking for some fake stuff, you can find it. And that's where I always tell people we should be able to have these conversations and call out the cancer. If not, you're going to be finding good-hearted people like Brian, like Simeon, like Lamarck, that's in the science that may be looking for something and hear some and get totally caught up in the wrong thing. Why? Because there's no one as a watchdog. You know, you need watchdogs. Just like when I brought up, just like vigilantes. And just like what's the brother name? Brian, his channel when I was and he always talking about those Moors. What's the brother and all those scammers? I showed y'all his YouTube channel. What was his name?
With the I think I know you're talking about, but it's escaping me as well, man.
Pocket watchers.
Semi.
Pocket watchers.
Semi.
Pocket watchers. Pocket watchers.
Yeah,
Nah.
Pocket. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. Pocket Watchers by JT. And everybody was hating on JT. They're like, oh, he hating on Negro getting him. And I said, how can he be hating on people? He a watchdog. He a financial advisor in real life. And all these Moors and all these people in the conscious community talk about they got some secret way where you can file this and you can get some money from the credit union and run that federal Navy play. All that scam stuff would get people locked up. And they were saying that was more science. And that's why people got into more science. And I'll be wanting people to tell the truth because these individuals are still out here. They scamming. Some of them got caught. Some of them haven't. Some of them are in trouble right now. Some of them have just not got caught. And that's why I'll be wanting to have these regular conversations because I know people on the internet through the weeks. I know people on TikTok through the weeks. You can't tell me you're not. And I know these people are popping up all up. I know Jonah Bay don't pop up as much as he used to. But my man, that one dude that Simeon talk about, Don Killam, he all over the internet, all over selling people these packages. And I'm like, dude, it's just a paper trail. And we that stupid. A person can drop the dime when they get caught. We'll say, I just tell on everybody. You know how I got a paper trail. I got a database on everybody. So I'm going around getting everybody caught up in a RICO. So I got a whole database. So if I go down, just like Nina Brown, or this bigger than Nino Brown, what you mean? I got a whole list of criminals. You see? I got a whole list of criminals that y'all can go attack. How? I got them all under this stuff. And so when you think about this, and these people be having something special, if it's special, why everybody else on the same thing? And y'all can look this stuff up. I want y'all to just look for your eyes. That brother Jonah Bay, I love my Moorish brothers. But when they come with that cap, when they come with trying to promote a lifestyle like this Moorish science to make you a lifestyle, I shun from that. That's paper terrorist stuff. It's another way to do it. But if that's what you're looking for, like I said, it's stuff out there for you. You know, all that stuff is out there for you. It's video. It's so many people that have made videos. Like it's another brother, and everybody thought he was a Moor, but he was making a mockery of Moors. It's called Factor Fraud. You can pull it up. It's called Factor Fraud, and this whole character is like a figure with a Moor head on it, and all his videos. He like, this is goofy stuff. You got all these people talk about this dayland. You can take this to the bank. All of them go to jail. And now you got these people, which people don't like to say, like we hating on people. We ain't hating on nobody. It's like, it's what it is. If you're on the internet doing it, then I can talk about it. Don't put it on the internet then for me to ridicule it. Don't put it on the internet for nobody to judge. If you don't want nobody to know, it's fake. Just like I told y'all about that lady Gail. No disrespect. They're on the internet talk about this dayland and they some Sharifian officers. Where these people at? In jail. Where these people at? They lose everything. They lose their kids. And I'll be telling people like, come on, man, we got to talk about this. And so I want people to question that stuff. But if that's what you into, brothers and sisters, what a lot of our brothers have did, they figured a loot. I won't even call it a loophole. They figured an area to trick our people with that paper terrorist stuff. And to promote a lifestyle. Any other questions?
Nah, I mean, I was eloquently explained in so many ways. So, shoot, I just gratitude more than anything, and always for the refreshing and the reiteration.
Gratitude right back. I just be wanting brothers the heart to be right first before you go out acting like the world owe you something. No, you owe the world something.
Yes, sir.
Don't nobody owe you nothing. If you own some land, then your mother them own land. If you when this is my land, well, your mom them don't own no land. Your family don't own no land. You don't got no trust. Oh, I need to set up a trust. What's gonna be in your trust? All your Air Jordans? I want to make a trust. I'm going to make a trust. I need to make a trust. I need to do all this. What's going to be in your trust? Oh, I need to claim this. You don't got a freaking penny. Negroes going to work every day, and then they so worried about filing some freaking paperwork, Brian. The white man is who you work for. Your ass work for the white man. Shut the hell up with that stupid stuff. You don't work for no black people. You ain't working for no black industry. You ain't getting paid in no damn gold. You ain't getting paid in no fucking corn, Brian. So when these niggas be talking about, the white man, I need to be off the land. I need to live on my own. Man, shut up. You don't even got enough money in gold land. You go to work every day. Negro wouldn't. You ain't donated to no industry to where you can live off the land. Why? What you producing? What you have? You go to work every day, Brian. This is what I be telling these brothers, these Moors. Oh, I need to arm. I need my rights. I need to get this. What rights do you have? You going to work every day, and you paying taxes. Why? Because you think you finna get a tax return. You let Uncle Sam take all the money out your check. Why? Instead of filing exempt, instead of donating to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice and get a tax exempt receipt. I be listening to brothers talk that bull crap all day, Brian. That's why I say until we 100% sure of what we doing and know how to operate, we ain't gonna never get there, Brian. Because everybody that works, and this is me teaching, this is my specifics, because everybody that's working right now that's not doing their part, we afraid. I mean the government your daddy, because everything that I'm teaching that you say clearly you're not confident. You can't be confident. Why? Because look at our actions. Right now, everybody that's working, I don't see nobody that's working with me or rock with me filing exempt on their taxes. They giving Uncle Sam their money. They ain't saying, well, hell, I'm going to do it myself, like the law say. The law say, if you don't know how to do it yourself and have records on your own, then damn it, we'll do it. If you don't understand you can have a midwife and have your babies in your own set, then come to the goddamn hospital. If you don't understand your religious right, can do your union, then you're going to go to the city hall and have a marriage license, which is a third-party contract. And this is what I'll be telling everybody, how we can help us when we want somebody to give us something. We all working. Everybody on here got a job. Everybody. Because like Simeon, Noble Simeon said, he getting ready to go to work right now. A lot of people go to work every day. And I say, well, what are you doing with your money? Well, Uncle Sam, I'm finna get a tax return. You ain't getting no tax return. The government don't give no free money. You getting a small tittle, Brian, of what Uncle Sam took out of you from the whole year. And I ask all my brothers and sisters, why you not filing exempt and why you not donating like you should be to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice and get a tax exempt receipt? Why? I throw that back to all my brothers and sisters, Brian, when they be talking about all that paper stuff and they go to work. I said, but the government is your daddy. Why? Did you got a job? Yep. Okay. Do you give your money to Uncle Sam? No. Yes, you do. You willingly give your money to Uncle Sam. Everybody that got a job, they willingly give their money to Uncle Sam, Brian. Am I right?
Yeah, if they not filing exempt and not donating to the charitable contribution of their choice, that's for sure.
That's everyone. So I don't play no biased game. I say that's everyone. When we talk this freedom stuff and I say, well, the religious laws trump everything and it still go over our heads. I'm telling us we all can play a role in building our religious and spiritual and educational house. How? By with the money that we allowing Uncle Sam to take out our check. By the percentage that we all say, well, I want Uncle Sam to take this much on my check because at the end of the year, I'm getting some back. No, none of my brothers and sisters file exempt because they afraid and because they really don't know the law. I know some brothers, they'd be like, well, I file exempt for 6 months, then I go back to regular. You ain't never asked why you can file exempt for 6 months. You don't know why could you file for 6 months and then file again. Why could you do that? And all my rich people and everybody that's part of religion, they file exempt forever. Why? Because they donate to their religious and charitable contribution of their choice. Once they know what they making, once the state laws in their area know that if you're making this amount of money, I got to donate this percentage to my religious and charitable contribution of my choice to offset what I'm giving Uncle Sam. But I'm going to hold my religious and charitable contribution. I'm going to hold them accountable for what we say we're going to do. So if we got millions coming in, well, then we should be operating. And that's what I'm telling my brothers and sisters when they be like, oh, I don't have this. I say, you do have it. When brothers be thinking they got to dig in their pocket like they be giving me something, when I'm just teaching how my dad be explaining to my family. My dad be like, but y'all not giving him nothing. You know, I said, you giving it to Uncle Sam willingly. The law said we can cipher that to our religious and charitable contribution of our choice. Just have my son, just have our rabbi give us a tax-exempt receipt at the end of the year. That's it. And nobody have to go in their pocket. You doing it yourself. You are your own accountant. That's what I be telling people, how much you make. But brothers don't want to be honest. Do you got any deductions? No, well, you owe Uncle Sam. And the more that you make, the more taxes they're going to be taking out your check. If you have no deductions, these just facts, brothers. And so until we understand this all the way and be confident, all that other paper stuff is not going to do you no good, because that's still sovereign citizen individual stuff. That's still not building a nation. And that's how I'm telling us how we can change it with the money that we give in Uncle Sam. If everybody understood this, if everybody understood this truly and was passionate and can walk the walk and talk the talk and say, oh man, I just donate to my religion charitable contribution of my choice. I make 40,000. If a person makes 40,000 a year and have no deductions, you owe Uncle Sam. So me personally, if my money, once I figure everything out, I'll be like, well, I'm gonna donate to my religious charitable contribution. Give me a tax-exempt receipt. And so you got everybody doing that. We got infrastructure, and you hold your people accountable. And that's what I teach and preach. We don't have to beg nobody for nothing. That's what I'll be telling these brothers and sisters. All that paper terror stuff, it's a waste of time. And my people are destroyed due to lack of knowledge. Once you learn something, you can teach yourself something. You can teach your baby something. You can teach those around you. And you can teach your brothers and sisters how to feed each other. Like, we own land. And I'll close with that, Noble Brian. Like today, we went to that place. It's called Hot Springs in Arizona. It's in what is it called? El Durango, El Dorado, Phoenix. But on that land, Brian, it's outside hot tubs coming from the natural water. Man, I was inspired because we can do something like that on our land. That's what this is all about, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and having everybody stop being wasteful with their money, and we build something. And so that's all I wanted to share with y'all, man. I just had a little bit of inspiration. So I give y'all gratitude for taking time out y'all day. Get into your studies, research that one word Tartarian, ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. And Noble Simeon, I put your fez and your turban in the mail today. I'll send you your tracking number in a minute. I got to go back in my phone. I forgot to send it to you early, but I just wanted to show that. You say something, Simeon? Oh, I thought Noble said something, but yeah. And Noble's, like I said, I'm gonna be showing more of our Moorish regalia, like farther our tunics. Y'all didn't see Noble Simeon. Me and Noble Simeon, we be talking to each other in text, and I'm gonna put Noble Simeon in our text stream as well. And Noble Simeon put, in the text stream, he had his tunic on, and it's the silk one with the pants, with the top, the attire. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. And so I love brothers that love to put their attire on because it's morally fresh. And we're gonna start promoting in Moor Simeon. Like I said, Allah's will, to where we have our temple again. It's a one-stop shop where it's a cultural store where you can come get all your beads, your fezes, your books, all that. It's a shop, and we lecture there as well. So I've been inspired, man, and I have access to all that stuff. And so it's just a matter of time where we able to bring that to the people so they can see all this stuff. And we have to start dressing like that again, Noble Simeon. And I agree with you. When we out in our regular time and we fresh, we got to be down. We got to be morally fresh. We got to, it's a way to do it. It's a way to be morally fresh when you out to represent. And so I give gratitude for that breath of fresh air as you coming into that inspiration and to being open and honest and like, hey man, I've been studying the science, and I'm like you said, you grabbed some paperwork, but you didn't go all the way through it. Why? Because the Holy Spirit was telling you not to. That's why, because the Holy Spirit was telling you to be patient. The Holy Spirit was telling you, like, wait a minute. The Holy Spirit was telling you to investigate something. So that's why you here. Because you could have went there. You could have found out the hard way like everybody else. But you know what I mean? It's another way to do it. You know what I mean? And so that's the work. We figuring out how to do it the right way. and us coming together and having these conversations, but people seeing us. So I'm just excited. And once again, all my muftis, all my nobles, as we continue to do what we're doing, giving donations and all that, I'm gonna continue to give gifts. As I was telling Simeon, when my brothers give donations and dues, I want my brothers to have the items. Of course, I want my members to go on the Moore's Haberdashery and buy items. That's for the regular public. I want us to deal with me personally, because this is part of your religious organization. All your regalia stuff you get from me, and I give you a tax exempt receipt. I don't want y'all to go in there and have to buy things as regular people. I want us to, share that with the world. But when you're a part of the BBT and things, I respect a man donating. I respect people donating. This is part of our spiritual. This is part of our teachings, our regalia, our fezes, our coats. We even got coats, Noble or Simeon. We got BBT coats, all of us, with our signs and symbols on them. This
Like
this is the
varsity
part.
jackets.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fire.
Oh man, see, I gotta start showing. Yeah, man, you got to go on our BBT website, man. We all got we got all got black coats. This last year we got black and yellow with some new symbology. This year we probably do black and purple with the purple fez. I think Malik and Dantes already got the purple fez because I shipped a couple to them earlier. But I got another site where I get purple fezes. You know what I mean, with the black
Mm.
tassel. And so when we get our black varsity coats with the purple arms, we have our purple fez with the black tassel. Yeah, man. Like, yeah, we got varsity coats, man. Yes, yes. And when we out, it's like a beacon. Our coats is like a attention grabber. I'm gonna take some pictures of them, Simeon. And so when we out in the world, people come up to us with our jackets, the signs and symbols, and it mostly be Europeans. Most black people, they be afraid because most of them be Prince Hall Masons, so they don't know how to come at us. They be like, damn, are they? I don't know what's gonna happen. Am I gonna say something and get embarrassed or this, not the other? No, we want that conversation. I do. I welcome it. All day because I'm light. But all these things is an outward appreciation of who you are, and you do get treated different. You do, as you should. You should. And it's going to show that you're a part of something. It's going to show that you accounted for. All these things that I'll be talking about, these nonverbal communications, you want. But then you want to be confident of what you're doing as well, because you should be. But yeah, Simeon, we got varsity coats, we got hats, we got the BBT hats that I make, all that, man. And with your influence and with your inspiration, I just want to get better, man. That's what I'm saying. I want to get better. I want to figure out how to do things better. So if anybody be having anything on their heart when they want to have meetings and things, and we want to share things, let's do it. If brothers want regalia and be like, sheep, I need some regalia. Let's have a meeting, a private meeting, and we go over all the regalia that I get, Noble Simeon, and we can say, okay, well, I want this, I want that. I share everything, and I'm transparent. I even share where I get stuff from, to where if I don't want to ship something, I'll say, okay, well, I'll make it right for my brothers, where we'll give a donation and I'll turn you on to where you can get credit for all your religious regalia. Anytime you're dealing with religious regalia, because I'm being specific, you want to get credit for that. It's just like if you in ministry and you buying a suit or you buying any church thing, that's religious regalia. That's a tax write-off. So anything a part of your religion, your books, your clothing, your time, this, not, and the other, we have to get credit for that. And when we do business together, that's how we do things together. We don't got to go outside. And that's how we spend money with us. Even y'all books, everything that my nobles get from me, donation books, they write that down. And everybody get a taxes and receipt at the end of the year for all their donations. I, I itemize all their donations, your dues, your donation, all the stuff, your books, all that is monetized, and you get a tax exempt receipt for all that. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That's how you rock. That's what this is about. You should. And most of our mothers and stuff, they've been going to churches for years, paying their taxes through the church. And then at the end of the year, they write a whole check to Uncle Sam. But you've been giving your money to the church. So why your church don't give you a tax exempt receipt? They be like, damn, I never knew about that. You paying
That's
taxes
that's lack
twice.
of financial literacy. A lot. That's why I don't blame a lot of people for. Actually, you need to know the knowledge fully before you apply it at certain
risk versus reward. But I do want more people to look at for financial literacy and history and civics and science,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that the way that sometimes they may go on about it might not be the right way.
Yeah, but I'm 100% with the financial literacy too, because that's my undergrad. See, me, my undergrad is business
Ours,
management.
yeah, business management as well. They don't understand, the benefits of these things. They get scared of them,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
it's some kind of, you know, um, witchcraft, spookism,
Hmm. Hmm. When it's
and
done, yep.
yeah, so they won't even know to ask the pastor. They might even be scared to ask the pastor, for a tax receipt. They don't know what to do, and it's important that we're teaching that type of stuff as well too.
I agree 100%. That's the civic part when I deal with, because financial literacy rules the day. I'm all with financial literacy. I teach that all day. I went to school for business. I was dealing with Wall Street and the stock market. I understand it. I educate people on it. Financial literacy is so important. Tax status is so important. That's why the church, man, that's why I said, Noble Simeon, the only thing we own is the church. The church is supposed to be the school. Why? Because the church is the bank. The church is the storehouse. And when you're doing that, it's set up as a whole institution. We are institution. And if we knew that, just imagine all our mom and them going to church all these years, donating to the church. And the pastor is, everything he do is tax exempt, from his car to his house to everything. But why not you? Why not? Why are you not a tax exempt, which you should be? So if the pastor getting his cars from, I'm just saying, I'm using an analogy in Flint, Michigan, Pathy Lou Williamson, and the pastor go to the dealership and say, hey, I'm Reverend Pork Chop. I'm tax exempt for the federal government. Do y'all work with organizations to lease vehicles or even buy vehicles with and don't pay taxes? Can I give you my tax exempt status? Absolutely. So the pastor do that, and then you don't take advantage of it as well. He don't share it with his people. So to say, if y'all going to lease cars or go to buy a car, go to Pathy Lou Williamson. Y'all are my members. They're getting a tax exempt status. You're not going to pay no taxes. Why they don't do that?
They hiding the information. It's plain and simple. They
I'm
they think
dropping
that
nuggets.
the meek shall inherit the earth, right? That's one of the main things they're gonna preach. They're gonna keep you meek, and they're gonna take advantage of everything. You know what I'm saying? Which
Hey,
is
yep,
which is you might as well be the oppressor.
yep.
Thinking like that.
Thank you. And that's what they use. And see, I'm glad you said it. I tell people, I said, listen, it when we set up the right way in this as a fraternal order, as a spiritual house, we can take advantage of it, because then we are a nation. We control everything and own nothing. We let the BBT own everything. So
Right.
Noble Simeon might have, I'm just using that as an example, 50,000 in his account, but the BBT got 150 million in his account. He operate everything under the BBT. He say, man, I'm just getting paid. Well, we're gonna sue you personally. I ain't got nothing but 50,000. I work this car job. We gonna take his car. This ain't my. When you run it, who own that? When you do a reference, when you run that, the tags on that, it's gonna come back Burning Bush Tabernacle. He might be riding an Escalade. I'm just saying. Nova
Damn,
Simeon
that's
might be
crazy.
riding.
That's the next car I'm getting too.
Yeah. Nova Simeon might be riding an Escalade. Like
I
when I
might
show
I
y'all
might
my
have to
truck.
put it under the BBT.
No, but I promise you, look, my truck, everything, I show everybody how to set themselves up locally. If anybody want to learn how to set themselves up, I tell everybody, you all ministers. You ain't got to pay nobody all this stuff. It's for you doing regular stuff. Because right now you got a car, yes, but you want to have you a minister. So when you all my brothers is ministers under the BBT, y'all local branches. So when I come to your area, I want to operate under you. When I come to your city, I want to be able to use our tax exempt status of the local branch, whatever temple number, whatever that Noble Simeon is the local chapter leader of. I'm just the sheik, so I'm coming there. He's established. I do this for everybody. So if it get to going on in Simeon like, well, sheik, I got me a 12 passenger van. He don't want his 12 passenger van under his name. He want his 12 passenger van under the BBT. And
Listen,
he want.
listen. We ain't Amish. We getting the Escalade at ESV. We gonna have, what I'm saying, be
Yep,
haberdashily. You know what I'm
yep.
saying? Be
I'm
clean,
telling you.
moving presidential. You
I'm telling you,
know?
all our attire that's right now, brothers wearing clothes, buying jogging suits from stores. You can't get no tax exempt receipt from that. When you buy jogging suits from me and all that, that's part of your religion. That's part of your regalia. You see church people, they have church jogging suits and all that. Well, we do too. We do too. This is what I be telling people. The benefit, you can't go and buy no clothes or go on Amazon and buy a Masonic hat and all that and say, okay, well, this is part of my religion. I need the tax and receipt. They're gonna say you bought that off of Amazon. It ain't a part of nothing. But when you part of a religious organization like we are, and we use different sources to get things, it's under our auspices. We can distribute it to our people. It could, and it's just so much that we can do. Not saying that you don't have to have your own for profit business, or you not Lamarck Barclay Bay. You might be that, but when you under this spiritual aspect, when you doing anything under your spiritual aspect, you got to be doing it under your local branch. You got to be doing under the spearhead of the BBT, and or if you're doing business DBA locally, if you got to be doing your business locally as the Burning Bush temple number, whatever. So when you doing things, when you buying things, when you open that account should say a Burning Bush, a temple, whatever. It might have your name on it because you just a part of it. You know what I mean? You're a representative of it. But the BBT is the main thing. So anytime you doing business transaction, you using that card. You might put money in that account to help have some money for operating costs. But anytime you doing things, you spending things, you buying things, you doing that. I show people how to do this. And like I
I
said,
think that one day that we should do a private class where you break it down exactly
Simeon,
how it works.
I'm glad you saying
That
this.
way.
I've done it. I've done it so many times, but I'm gonna do it again with you because I'm glad you're here for you can experience. So for you can say, was like this man take his teeth out his mouth. I'm giving an analogy and put us on a titty. How can you not be doing it? I watch. I walk you to a T, and that's the only reason why I be flipping in my head because I'll be like, it ain't costing nobody nothing to set themselves up and do this. We already spending money. I'll show you how to get your articles organization. I'll show you how to set this up. It's not hard. And
All right.
once you
So
do that,
does the I don't some of this stuff I don't know if I should I don't know 'cause I don't know if you're gonna broadcast this or not, but um uh if we wanted to get um rentals uh in the church's name instead of or leases for business or commercial leases, either
mhm.
or one or the other, would we be allowed to operate under that um EIN and tax exempt
Oh, I love
ID?
you, Steve. I love you. Know what I'm yes, and yes, this broadcast. I'm glad you asked this question because you just answered it. Okay, so now let's play devil's advocate. You part of my regular church. Boom, you become a member. My church got a tax exempt status and all that. So when you become a member, don't you should be able to use the tax exempt status. So I'll play devil's advocate again. I had a conference in Flint. Moso and O'Brien came. We need to get a rental car. So when they got in, I said, when you go to the rental place, just we got Temple ID, as well. Ask them in a convoys, do y'all take a tax exempt status, through your church or your organization? They say, yeah. Boom, you give them your tax exempt status, no taxes. Absolutely. When we went to the hotel, I went right to the desk. I said, hey, do y'all, when I was doing my registration, I asked on the phone, do y'all take tax exempt status? Yes. Let us know when you get here, at the front desk and give me your tax exempt number. The person will write it down. And when they check out, they'll deduct the taxes from of it. Boom, boom, boom. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even when you go to the grocery store, a lot of grocery stores, they do it. If you act in the right way, ask the grocery stores, do they take taxes and status from your religious organization? The regular clerk might not know, but you can ask to speak to a manager. Most managers know, and they'll punch your taxes and status in the register, zero taxes. So absolutely, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right.
Yep. So say if you traveling, say Noble Simeon, say you travel out of town, you say, man, I'm getting ready to go out of town, sheep, but man, can I use the tax exempt status, to get a little discount on my room and to see, can I get a discount on this car? Because everything works. $40, $50 off everything. That's a lot. Hell yeah, use it. I use it everywhere I go. And I be telling all my nobles to use it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but that's on them. I can tell
But
you this when I have
what
my
about contractually? Can we do a lease agreement? Can we, get an apartment as a minister under the burning bush and through our contributions um that are equal be dispersed to, i.e., landlord.
Well, we'll see, and that'll be like the temple almost leasing a place. That is not an individual. You see what I'm saying? It's
Correct.
like not an individual. Like that's the thing from when I talk about business and personal, and I have to and I have to show all the documents for a person to be like, oh, I see
No,
this.
I understand. I understand. What I'm saying specifically is a lot of corporations and even churches at
Hmm.
times, let's say I'm doing some missionary work in the area, will be like,
Hmm.
okay, well, we're gonna do either a short-term rental or we're gonna lease this apartment for this minister or this these volunteers for a
Yeah,
year or and
yeah,
then it's under the church's name, under the
yeah,
ministry's name.
yeah.
You
And
understand?
I understand clearly, like, and that's one that once again, it all depends on if that establishment do business like that, if they understand, because a lot of places is private. That's another thing. Are they private or are they government ran? So that's another thing when people looking at things. I can give an analogy like out here where I'm at, a lot of baseball players, depending on the team they play in, they'll come and lease little spots for a couple months because they might be having spring training. You know what I mean? So they'll come out here and lease them under the baseball teams auspice. You know what I mean? Under their how can I say it? Under their lease agreement per se. Say if we choose an area, and I'm just saying we have conferences out here every year, or we do 6 months of work out here. Yes, we can go to a establishment and work out some type of deal. It's all negotiated. Absolutely. Yes, that can be done. But shit, we ain't even close to that level yet, you know?
I think that we are close. You have it established well. I'm pretty sure you got big accounts attached to it.
Yep.
I just as a I'm not a mufti yet, but as a member and a minister under the burning bush that teaches more science that I've learned and received and embodied as I receive it as well. Um, you know, I guess it depends on the level of, I guess, authority or responsibility within the organization to be allowed to, operate in that capacity where we can make moves,
Well, I'll
under
tell
the
you this, Simeon.
organization as well.
I'm a student, even though like people say, well, you the she this man, I'm still a student. That's number one. I can learn from everyone. And that's what I'll be telling everyone. I'm here to learn too. I'm here to spark some things. And so as we doing things, because all y'all are brilliant, everybody got inspiration. I want to learn too. And so as we learn, as we building, hell yeah, bring it back to the table. This is what I asked for, Noble Simeon. This is what I'll be
Okay,
asking for. You
so
know?
there's two things. There's two things, right?
Hmm.
So there's a maximum amount that you could donate per year, correct?
Yep. Yep.
And
Well,
what is that amount?
it depends on your state. And see, that's again, remember local and state laws. Well, and then again, you have it's two type of givens. Like you can give dollar for dollar. So I'll just do like say if you donate to how can I say uh
I get exactly what
I'll
you're
give
saying, like a
California.
401k, like a
I'll give
401k
California.
almost.
I'll give
Okay.
California. Put it like this: the state of California, you can give 60% of your earned income before taxes to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice. That's just the basic law. You can give 60% of your earned income before taxes to your religious and charitable contribution of your choice.
Okay.
That's just the basic law. Now every state is different. You know what I mean? Like and so to offset your taxes, and I'll give another example. In the state of Arizona, say if you make
Mm.
65,000 a year, you got to donate 13% of your earned income to offset your taxes, what you're going to give Uncle Sam. So if you make about like 65,000, close to 70, you got to at least donate almost 13,000 a year to your religious and charitable contribution to offset your taxes. But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, Noble Simeon. You part of the BBT, right? So you get in-kind
Mhm.
service. You know what in-kind service is?
Explain that to me,
See,
please.
see, in-kind service is you get credit for your work. Like say, like my noble Malik, he's the minister of health and wellness. So he do our training every Saturday and Sunday. So say I can't pay him enough what he do. You know what I mean? But I only can give him like some accounts receivable. I give him a little stipend for his time. Thank you, Noble Lamarck, for doing this. As I can give him gifts. But I say what that service that he doing is worth $1,000 a month. You know what I mean? He doing it 2 days a week in his time. So if he was doing that at my temple and people would come in, if money was coming in, I'll be able to give Noble Malik $1,000 a month just for that little time working out. But I don't have them funds coming in like that to where I can pay people and give it for their time, just like church people playing instruments. So I can give you in kind service. So that in kind service at the end of the year, say if I'm giving you $1,000 a month to do your workout, whatever, and we agree that's a good enough payment. At the end of the year, I'm gonna have to give you taxes and receipt for 12,000. You hear me? And
Hmm.
that in kind service 12,000 receipt is going to be added on to your dues and your offering, and so that extra 12,000 gonna offset what you owe Uncle Sam to get you over that hump. You see what I'm saying? Because that's in kind
Ah,
service. Yes. That's in kind service. So say if a person is not doing their money right, and 10% of your income, you say you make 40,000, that means you should be given at least $400 a month, which is $100 a week. I don't even ask that from my muftis. All my muftis will tell you. Most of my brothers make at least that. Don't nobody donate $400 a month. No one. And so most people donate what they can. And so at the end of the year, when you do your taxes, you're going to owe. Why? Because you're not giving enough based off how much you're making and based off the local laws of how much to offset your taxes. Say if you make 40,000 and you only giving, say, $100 a month, you're gonna owe Uncle Sam. So if you was given based off the state law, say if you was given that 10%, it'll offset your taxes. The more you make, the more you donate. So if you making a certain amount of money, Simeon, and say you're not okay on your finances right now, you working on your finance, you like, sheep, I just can't afford 10% of this, or you say I can't afford to give that right now. Fine, but you doing this and you do ministry and you hold classes and you teaching, you helping assist with other things we got going on, like Lamarck do, like when brothers do the stream yard. That's work. So say if we're at our physical temple, that'll be audio and visual. So I have to give them some type of stipend for audio and visual because that's work, and so they'll be able to get an in-kind service, taxes and receipt on what I agree and what they agree that service is worth. And so, say if my noble say, man, I can give $200 a month, and they making 40,000 a year, and I say, okay, well, I'm gonna give you in kind service for your service. Once they take that in kind service and what they're giving each month, it's gonna add up as total giving. You see what I'm
uh,
saying?
got it. Roger, follow me real quick. For the Burning Bush Tabernacle, in order to use the name or as a minister, the church being an educational institution, as well as a religious organization and a bank.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way, not any way, um, follow me?
Mm-hmm.
The a bank can loan,
Mm-hmm.
or there could be property of the religious organization, even intellectual property that's leased
Mm-hmm.
uh, to or loaned to ministers,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which accounts for debt. Um, and yeah, yeah. So it would be like, um, or as far as like our pendant bodies, when we have, oh man, I'm not even sure how to say this, but I know that that doesn't count as income, right?
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
we get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It don't. It don't.
Okay,
It. Yeah. So yeah. 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 I get what you're saying. Like you're saying a lot. Like far as taxes wise, that's what you're saying.
right.
You said it don't count as income. A lot of stuff we doing don't count as no, be, but not when we do work with each other. When we doing work with each other, we still under that religious auspice. It's a whole different tax code. You know,
Yes.
that's like
I'll have to speak. I'll speak to you on. I'll speak to you and gather my thoughts about that
yeah,
specifically. to explain it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I know, like when you get land, like when the church or when your organization get land, you want to you tax exempt for the federal government. You want to keep your paperwork so legit to where you don't have no interference. Like I did, just like my Mormon people, like my homie Khalid, they own land up in St. John, Arizona, and a lot, the stuff that we talking about, they're doing. And it's no individual. That's why I hate preaching the individualist thing, because it's when people say, well, the Amish, that's a group of people. They ain't saying an Amish person. They saying the way the Amish as a religious organization, as a nation, how they live. Are you part of the Amish nation? And see, that's what people not telling people. It's truth and falsehood strangely mixed. It's a nation, not one. So when people when it's
Let's just be honest. We want our money to have more control over where our money goes. And
yes,
we don't want black budgets or to anywhere that's not affecting the immediate community and situation that we're in right now. We don't want to be paying for things that do not affect us, paying for pensions and all types of
yep,
different stuff that we
yep,
have no
yep,
interest in, no benefit from.
yep, yep.
Now, I would, so the best way I'm trying to figure out the best way in order to have more control over my
Mm. Mm.
fruits of my labor,
Now I hear you.
and to
Now I hear you. See, now when you get to talking in them layman terms, and I love this, I did that on purpose because we got to get out that. Let me try to get inside and let's get into layman terms, man. We need to control our money. And see, when people talk like then I can get into the science. We can control our money when we give the stuff back. Everything gets established for people that don't know what they're doing. Hospitals, birth. Well, you don't know how to. You don't have no midwife. Come here. You don't know how to do your own unions. Come here. All that I agree. And the religious law is set up to where if you don't have it yourself, you're gonna have to pay. They telling us they like y'all should have your own thing set up. Why you argue about it? Did you got your own thing set up? Well then, that's what we doing. Until we understand that, until we know how to barter, and until we know how to do that susu and put money up and hold people accountable and be like, man, that's like people be saying $1 million ain't nothing. Man, $1 million is a lot. You got $1 million a lot for a group of people that don't have nothing. Say we got $1 million operating cost right now. That'll change all of our lives because a lot of stuff Simeon talking about we'll be doing. We'll already be building on our land. We'll already be building to live off the grid per se. And when I say off the grid is out of local community where the state control everything, where the local laws and the state laws is trumping anything federal. And so as we living here locally, Noble Simeon, we're gonna have to abide by this. We're gonna have to spend our money on this and that and the other. Because how we gonna live in our houses? How we gonna live in our apartments? How we gonna get the garbage picked up and all that? All that's taxes. And see, and if you don't pay that, then it's not gonna happen. If Simeon don't, if Noble Simeon got a house and he don't pay his tax on his house, he gonna lose his house. If Simeon don't pay his goddamn car insurance on this stuff, his car insurance gonna lap. If he got a car note, his car gonna get repoed. So all that stuff you can't get rid of until you give it all back. And I'll be asking people, are you willing to give it all back? If you ain't in the shape to give it all back, it ain't nothing you can do. If a person ain't willing to say, man, well I want to live off the grid, well, how you going to sustain off the grid if you don't have no money coming in? How you going to eat? You don't have no farm until you start growing it. Well, I'm going to grow a farm. Where you going to get all your seeds from? That cost. Well, I'm going to get my own water. Who going to pitch the water? Who going to set all this stuff up? Well, I'm going to have a greenhouse. Who going to build it? Well, I'm gonna have a UV. I'm gonna live off the UV. So who gonna do all this? It take money. So where the money coming from? What we selling to have money coming in? And do brothers have money to do these things? And to say, okay, well, I'm working out and I'm working and
well,
I'm putting a percentage to do it.
we do have ingenuity. We can be very resourceful, so we might not
Yes,
need all the money. We can find different recycle.
I agree.
You know, I've seen some good things about growing plants in storage containers
I
that
agree.
they able to cover like it's like almost like 50 acres you can fit worth of plants you can fit in certain storage containers with a technique that I've been researching. But
Yep,
yeah, you're right. It does have to do with money, but I just don't want us to really be too like bent up on that's the only contribution that you could give,
I agree.
skill, knowledge, and really us binding together in the little bit of money that we have You got to
Yep.
remember when a bank, and this I don't know, you probably know this already, but when a bank goes for to give a business money, they
Yep.
look at the cash flow. Income is very important,
Yep.
and with
The
3 to
ability to
6
pay back.
months of proof of
Yep.
income, that
Yep.
they start offering you stuff.
Yep. The ability is
Lines of
the
credit,
ability to pay back.
credit,
Yep.
exactly.
Mhm.
And imagine if 100 of us, even if we only make 20,000 a year, if
Simeon,
a
you sound
hundred
like me. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. I just said that to pull it out. I agree. I agree. I agree 5,000% with you, Simeon. But
But this is the part that you're leaving out though, because this is the question that I have, right?
Mhm,
I give you all of this money. I give not you. I give our church, our organization, our school, everything, right?
mhm, mhm,
How do we live? How do we get our disbursements or
mhm.
our stipends or whatever for the work that we do in the ministry? You know,
That's a
How-
yep. And the work in the ministry got to be prosperous. Like people be forgetting, like just like if you a solid investor on something. If I'm saying I'm gonna be an investor, that mean I want some quarterly or etc. That mean it got to be prosperous. So whatever we have to be doing businesses. We have to be investing. We have to be selling things. We have to have things going on, no matter if it's items or nothing. So as we invest in our structure to live and all that, we also doing business. So what type of business are we in to be wanting to get a kickback, or get a stipend per se? Is it, all those ideas? What are we selling? Like what do we have to generate money coming in? Like what type of investments are we doing to say, well, man, okay, we can split all this quarterly? Or the first thing that I'll be looking at as a people, like you said, if we are not going to talk about money, just ideas and all that, that's great. But now we talk about time, which most people don't even. I ain't saying nothing. I'm not making no excuse because I make shit happen with pennies. I'm in Arizona. I know about all storage units. I go buy a storage unit right now, and just put it on the land. That's the type of person I am. I got a storage unit with just metal circle pins that you can fill up with water and all this type of stuff when anything happens. So I do that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like we
wow.
own land, and with the metal rail cars, all that stuff out here in Arizona. I can take you to a field out here that sell all those metal storage bins out here right now. We can buy a couple of them for $1,000 a piece right now. And so is people ready to have it, and people really gonna get involved to doing it, because we don't have these conversations, Noble, Simeon, and I'm so glad that you here with this extra inspiration. Just like I've been saying the same thing when I say it ain't just about no money. I talk about money a little bit, but you only got to have a little bit. And then you got to have manpower, like my misnomer Mexican homeboys. They don't have no bunch of money, Noble Simeon. They got willpower. They got that
Yeah, they
desire.
they
And
they
they,
move
and
over
they
here. It'd be
yes,
6 of them, 7 of them in one
yes,
small apartment.
yes. And see,
Within a
Noble Simeon, we're
year,
not willing to
they
do
got
that, Simeon.
houses.
We not, and I said sometimes, I was just telling my wife, sometimes we're not ready to do that even more. Is why we spoiled as hell. Right now, hell, I'm looking. My wife want new furniture. When we move, we don't even really need new furniture. But I'm talking about the being Americanized, where we wasteful, Noble Simeon. So
Very
we got to,
wasteful and don't
yes,
administer our estates. We don't like
yes,
to do the paperwork or take care of our responsibilities. And,
yes,
and that's why I agree with what you're saying, because we don't really even, do you really just want to use the car, or do you really want the car?
right,
You don't need to
right,
have that shit in your name. You just need
right.
use rights. Give
You
it
just need
away.
to use it. Yes.
Exactly.
And if
That's
we
all you
using it, we
need
using it for business. If we use it, we ain't
for
just write up and say
business
this is
or
for
for
business.
ministry.
Yes. Now I be telling people to get it. I say we either use this for ministry or business. Why? Because it's paying for itself. You
Are
know?
you a fan of have you heard of real estate wholesaling?
Yep. Yep. Getting them contract, man. Noble Dantes, he's in the real estate, and I'm funny you said that, because when he got with me, he was trying to be in a realtors guild and all that, and I gave him some information, and he took it the wrong way, and he stopped, in that real estate game, and that was his career and his passion, but he never said nothing to me, and it kind of messed. kind of messed things up for him, and he ended up coming back, and we had a conversation. I said, that's not what I said. I give information. So where if you in that field, you want to be the best, you want to give everybody all the information to make a sound decision. And so
Right.
he had to get back on the bike, was like, "She, thank you." And I said, I didn't give you the information to discourage you. If you ask me for some information and you studying something, I'm gonna give you all the information. But if you don't come back to me and say, let's how can I say, let's digress and see, what's been going on and see if I'm going right. So hell yeah, I deal with that. I deal with I educate myself on all that. When I was in Flint, I was dealing with I used to buy houses for low, fix them up. Like I got a couple houses in Flint right now that I want to talk about with my muftis. I've been sharing with them. I got a business partner in Vegas, which is my older friend, which is a friend with my brother, Noble Simeon. And we got a couple houses. And then I'm explaining to him, he just donated the houses to me, to the he donated all the houses to the BBT. So we almost done fixing them up. And what he been going to the city and talking to the jails, and if everything go right, we'll be able to have one of these houses as a halfway house. So when people getting out of prison, we'll be able to rent each room, put 2 beds in them, and rent them out for like $1,000, $1,500 for each bed. When brothers
That's
getting
good
out of
money.
prison. Yeah, and I want to call one like in Flint.
Veteran, you can do one for veterans too, because
Yep,
it's two
and
beds to a room too.
Yep, and he dealing with that too. And in Flint, man, these Muslims got one downtown Flint. It's called the Muslim House. And when a lot of Muslims get out of prison, they go there. They go there to get care packages. They don't got a place to stay. You come there and do all that. So that's something that I want to do as well in our cities, where when we talk about money coming in, Simeon. So when we talk about we invest in type of businesses where we can get returns, and when people talk about they a trustee on this, well, you a trustee on what? Ain't no money coming in. Well, you can be a trustee if I trust you to do business with you. But in that level, when we talk about returns and thing, you can't get no return on none of it, and it's no money being made. So that's the realistic aspect I talk about, is doing business, and we can do business with each other.
Well, you seem like you already taking some inspiration from our Jewish brothers
Yes,
and how they move, because that's what they do.
yes,
They focused on a lot on real estate and land, and it's combined with family and religious, or their religious organization or affiliation.
yep,
And I think we could definitely all um, make let's see, how can I word this? I'm trying to find the right word. We could definitely all profit,
yes,
off of being able to do that as well. Now, as
yep.
a member, you said we're shareholders too, or how exactly does that work?
Great question. Okay, so I got to keep on my business hat on. So when you invest in anything, paying dues, just like I'll give analogy of a church. I got to make it plain, and all my church people, I'm sorry. Hey, we having a regular conversation. I'm just illuminating all your stuff. Anybody, when you give some money and it's money being held, and that organization is doing business, no matter if it's ministry, anything, you are a stakeholder. When money coming in, you a stakeholder. So that means a stakeholder have advantage. You should be able to use everything that's part of that ministry. Like for instance, if you're a member of the YMCA, what that mean?
You get the benefits that come along with the membership.
So if you're a member and you paying, and we say, and I say, to be a member of the BBT, if you paying your dues and all this, and we got all these ministries going on, and we got these for-profit businesses, the only way we can have these for-profit businesses coming in is the people giving the money. And so if the people giving the money, the members, y'all are stakeholders. So for instance, say all the members donate, and we get to that level, I say, well, look, y'all, I done took a percentage of this, and I done got these print press, and I got these print machines to make shirts, and these stitch machine to make hats and all this. Everybody will be stakeholders of that. Why? Because the only way I was able to get it is from y'all. So that automatically make you a stakeholder of whatever I'm producing. Now it just depends on what type of contract that we can agree with, to where say, okay, well, y'all gonna get this for free, or percentage of this, and off the sales, what we producing, if people shipping them out, whoever investing on this, we got to split that. So you are a stakeholder, you are an investor, just like any mega church, anything. I don't see how the people don't understand to be you are an investor, because it wouldn't be mega without you. The mega come from the people. I don't care if it's no church or nothing. You're not none of that unless the people give it. So if TD Jakes or anybody, they got their own broadcasting, television, and all this. Who are the investors? Who sit on the board? Who are the ones that's getting paid? Because all that stuff TD Jakes got is through ministry. TDJ,
Right.
all those TV shows, all that stuff is through the ministry. He didn't want no big businessman and say, okay, well, I'm a investor in real estate, so I'm gonna take this. No, all TDJ stuff from real estate, from all he got, came from ministry. All the TV show, the movies came from ministry. So the only way he did that was his ministry. Who's the stakeholders? He's not just sharing that, and he don't, and the people not asking me. I'm transparent. I want us to have it, because if something happened to me, I want this thing to go on. It ain't about me. You know what I mean? So that's why I say y'all are stakeholders, because everything that y'all invest in the BBT and whatever type of business the BBT do, y'all have to reap some of the benefits. So the nonprofit organization can have for-profit businesses. This is what I tell people as well. Out here, it's a big church called CCV, the Christian Church of the Valley. Man, they got a damn Starbucks in their church. Do you think that's a non-for-profit business?
That is a
Do you?
for-profit business.
Thank you. And this is what I be asking people, and I'll be like, I'm asking questions, and ain't no such thing. They'll be like, well, what you mean, Sheik? I said, man, dude, stop playing with me. I just said this church has a goddamn Starbucks, has a damn Subway, have a
Well,
bookstore. Do you think this is a non-for-profit or profit? It's for profit. Ding ding. So therefore, if it's for profit, how are they doing all this? The money coming in, and then deals is being made. Only way the people, you got a Starbucks. Who buying a Starbucks? The people of the other organization. Who buying a Subway? Your people. Who coming to this bookstore and buy all these clothes? The people. Man, they got baseball fields, soccer camps, everything for the people. So the money that you spending outside for all these organizations and all these things, it stays in-house. You see, and the people still reap benefit, because the body is the church, the umbrella. Just like in business, I draw a big circle, and in the middle of it, it'll be BBT. Now, off that circle, Solomon, I can do a whole bunch of chords, a whole bunch of strings, and put a little circles on the end of it. So you might have the big circle in the middle, a string with a little circle, another string with a little circle, another string, little circle, another string, little circle. But in the middle, it's being fed off the BBT. You see what I'm saying?
mhm.
And so I know I'm not asking specific. I'm just giving a little
No, I
insight.
understand. I understand
Yeah.
exactly what you said.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I understand exactly what you said. As time goes along, we'll gain a little bit more clarity, and I don't see why anybody that that loves the information and the brotherhood that we have, and sisterhood for the sisters that's a part of it, um, wouldn't want to make that happen, because it's beneficial on all angles. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It really is when you think about it, logically,
Yep.
especially being responsible members paying their dues and taking initiative to do things within the ministry. Um, having access to to offend their body, having that not offend their body, having BBT behind you,
Yep.
and to be is amazing. The more members, the better it's going to be, because we'll
Yep.
be able to make. Let's just think like the Catholic Church, like Catholic Church moves. They're one of the
Yes.
biggest estate holders in the world. You
Yes.
understand? You
Yes, I
can't.
understand.
All right, so that's how we should be moving. We got to emulate, even if they are our oppressors. There's things that we can learn from them, or that they taken from us, that we
Yes.
can reteach ourselves. You
Yes.
know?
Yes. And that's why you here, Simeon. Like I said, I'm a student too. I'm down with inspiration. That's why I say, brothers, come at this and look what we have. A person can take this and be like, wait a minute, Sheik. No, we're gonna do this, and we gonna reach this level. Everybody be talking about, we got 10 acres. When everybody be talking off the grid, but don't nobody know what to do with it. I said, dude, what ideas? We got 10 acres right now. We can do whatever. We can do whatever. And
Man,
so
that's
along,
that's so easy. Small city, everybody has something that they do there. We can have our
yep,
own food, own animals. It could be
yep,
an experience, really.
yep,
It could be an
yep,
experience. We could, like, I was even thinking while you was talking, I was like, what would be really good, especially with AI and everything? It's making little, like, either animated or even like realistic, like kind of like movies explaining some of the stuff. Like even if
man.
it's like short
Yes.
film, and then we can shoot it there and everything, give them a whole experience. Like this is more science, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
The health, the mental, the spiritual, the economical, the civics,
Yep.
everything. You know, just give them a whole experience. Like you know, come here for a week. We got
Yep.
the yoga. We got
Yep.
the
Yes.
working out. We got the spa. We got the what you said the side of the hot spring. You
Simeon,
know,
I
and we
want,
got
yeah, I want
uh,
people to look when y'all get a chance, look up hot springs in Arizona, in El Dorado, Arizona, and look up that whole outside thing. Man, they got these outside like little jacuzzis made out of rocks, and it's low overhead. Like you were saying, that experience where you come out there and detox, almost like when Left Eye was dealing with Dr. Seepy when she went to Honduras.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm with you. I've been telling brother that we can have the same thing set up with our trailers set up out there. We find the water out there and it can be retreats. We got the land and it can be retreats. We just gotta figure we can figure this stuff out. That's why I said, Noble, I'm with whatever, man. And don't be afraid to bring your ideas around. That's another thing what I would tell people because somebody might be more inspired than the next person. Somebody might be like, man, we got all this chic and y'all, we done did all this and ain't nobody taking it to the next level. Don't be afraid. You ain't stepping on no, and you damn sure ain't stepping on my toes. I already told you that. You ain't stepping on my toes. You inspire me, just like Brian inspired me, just like Lamarck inspired me. All this stuff, like we got some dope stuff. We just got to do it further. Like you were saying, AI is so advanced, man. I got so many ideas. I'm not technically inclined with the AI, but Alonzo is, and we've been having meetings, Noble, or Simeon. That's why I said I want to add you into this stuff because you're gonna be like, well, what the hell? You gonna get inspired too? Because Alonzo was good with this AI stuff, and we can do little snippets, do little short videos, man. All this stuff where our faces don't have to be there, but we can get all this attention on social media and real life, like you were saying, showing people what we really do with the regalia, with the retreats, with the healing, with the all that, man. Like you said, we can figure it out. So Simeon, I know in March we having our fifth Moors Ball. We going to Texas, but I would like everybody, if we get a chance to, everybody to go look at the land again and just, if we all get to meet and just, what I mean, see the land again and see what it looked like, see where it's at. It's in prime real estate area. It's in Kingsman, right between Vegas and Arizona, prime real estate. When I say prime real estate, brothers, we can go out there with our trailers and just pinch tents and do little retreats and things out there. You know what I mean? On our own with our generators and things. So I'm all for everything, Noble. And like I said, I'm just inspired. And I tell everyone, it ain't about money. We electric. Like you said, Simeon, it takes ideas. It takes us trying something. We done tried so much in our youth. Look how much money we spent on clothes and clubbing. I have a past, and I'm sure everyone else have a past. We all done things and can look back and be like, man, I sure wasted a lot. Why don't we take that same energy and say, let's see what happens with this and go all in? Because my plan A is my plan B. Simeon, I have to be honest. I invest my time and my effort and my love in this. So I just want to share this with y'all, man. And as you get inspired, as you at work, and as Lamarck at work, and as Brian and all of us, we come together and try to figure it out. But I want to add you in there. We're going to do a new text stream, and I'm going to add you in there because we talk to each other every day, Simeon, and we have meetings. We try to have at least every other week to talk about business, to talk about a lot of other things we got going on. And just your input can inspire us, man. Like we got tea companies and things like, and I'll close with this, like Noble Moso. He do massages. He a herbalist, and like I was trying to tell people, we need to get a machine, a vending machine, and we all put in on it and put a vending machine where it needs to be. Just all these little things where people got stuff going on. I like to try stuff. I don't look at it as an L. I like to try things and inspire other people that got stuff going on already. Be like, man, have you ever thought about getting a vending machine? Go around and ask places. Go around and ask the all the gyms. Go around and ask certain places, do they want a vending machine with healthy snacks and healthy teas in there? Somebody gonna tell you, yeah. When you get that yes, bam, then you go get the vending machine. Why? Because you already got the product. Just like with me. If Simeon get inspired and Simeon say, "She, man, I got a little place out here in Washington. where, man, it's a little building, man. We can have classes here, but this can be our boutique because Simeon like the gear, and
Man,
Simeon can
I'm
say,
glad you said that.
hey, Simeon,
It
I
was
told
just,
you,
oh
Noble,
man,
Noble.
like you know, when
I'll be
you
in.
really align when you will really align yourself with your aspirations, your I ams. Because I be
Yes,
proclaiming every morning. I got my morning rituals that I do, and I
Simeon,
proclaim. I
I'm
speak it in
all
this
over
every
you.
morning. And a creative studio is one of them. Doubled as creative studio warehouse that doubles as a living space.
I
That's
had to
it.
get on your page. I had to look
I,
at
s-
you.
I,
Like,
s- I see one. It was $2,000 a month. I was so close to getting there, and I was just going to live in there and take showers at the gym. But it
yep,
had like a
now,
whole bottom floor, had two offices on top. It was
yep.
beautiful, bro.
Yep. And see stuff like that is me and you think alike because me and my partner in Vegas, we was close. We almost got a warehouse close by the strip, to where it was a big warehouse. You can have like we can have all our items in there to where we'll be like a distributor. We can ship everything out, but we can live
Right.
upstairs. But it had
And
a it
yeah,
had a
you
it
can
had a shower room.
manufacture everything in there.
Yes, yes. And we was gonna have it as a one-stop shop because we was gonna live there too. You know what I mean? And so I'm
Right.
on that same thing with you on Simeon, a one-stop shop to where we got our boutique, we got our bookstore, and yeah, and we have scheduled teachers in here, so it'll pay for itself. We have after school activities, a computer lab, all that in there.
That's it right there.
Yeah. And I know how to get computers and stuff for free, Simeon, because I'm an educator. So a lot of the colleges and a lot of the schools, they get they get new computers every so often and they give them away to nonprofits. They might
So
give
you
them to you for
qualify for
$10.
a lot of grants and stuff like
Yeah,
that
man,
because of your
Simeon.
credentials.
And if I had a grant writer, like I got a grant before when I went back home, I
We
got a
don't
grant
need
to
a
teach
grant
after
write.
school
We
activities.
got AI. I got a prompt for you. I'm
I
gonna
was
send it
just
to
finna,
you.
I was just finna say that. I was just finna say that, Simeon. I was like, we got AI now to do all this. So when people say, like my Mufti Malik, he a basketball coach. He got access
Oh,
to the
okay.
whole school out there in Sacramento. Lamarck is a referee as well. College, high school, all that known out there. Man,
Okay.
don't you know Malik got access to a high school. We can have our own basketball camps and everything, and provide that and get our own grants for the city and just ask for small donations because the grant pay for it. We can ask for small donations to bring the people in for our time and have jerseys and all that. Because I had a soccer camp out here in Arizona, and you can pull it up on Instagram. One of my young brothers that I met when I first moved to Arizona, his name is Devin Franklin, and he got a mixed family, and I helped him with his soccer camp. It's called Next Gen Soccer Camp, and we had a big soccer camp at the Avondale Sports Complex. And I wrote Adidas, I wrote Gatorade, Noble Simeon, I wrote Spalding, and I asked for monetary and tangible donations. All of them wrote me back. Some couldn't give money, but they gave me tangible things. They brought pallets of Gatorade. They brought soccer balls. Adidas gave us headbands and stuff like that. And so all that stuff was free. And then the Avondale Sports Complex let us use the complex for only $20 an hour. He couldn't let us get it for free, but he let us get it for only $20 an hour. And we did it for 3 days. And we got money and we got people to donate to where what we would have to pay, the donations covered it. I had a photographer come out, and I gave him some money for his time. I gave him an accounts receivable receipt for in-kind service, and he made like little sports cards for all the kids that participated. And so all that
That's
stuff we
cool.
can do once we get organized, Noble Simeon. So you ain't stepping on my toes, you ain't stepping on nobody's toes. Everybody got a place. Like some people might not be ready to do this, some people might not want to. Some people might just want to assist. You know what I mean? And so that's what this is about, man. So once again, man, I'm inspired. I want to get this again. I'm going back to my city of Flint, Simeon, in January, and I'm gonna be at the libraries. I'm using it free, but what I'm working on is getting me a little booth again, a little plaza, to where I can have a one-stop shop. And I'm close to where it's a small little plaza. It's in the plaza, and I'm gonna have it like a small little boutique bookstore, sage, because I got access to boxes of sage, all the beads, and I'm gonna have it as our little cultural store, but we host little speakers in there, and that's where I'm gonna be, you know, with our
Mm.
regalia and all that to show the culture, like you were saying, to show the experience for a person to come in there 24 hours or 7 days a week and come in there. And it's like a safe place. You might want to come in here and read a book. You might want to come in here and drink some tea You might want to come in here and be like, man, we got film day where we playing some of these old films from Dr. B and John Henry Clark. You know what I mean? All this cultural stuff that we can bring back. But Simeon, our cultural store, a one-stop shop, I definitely want to do that again, where we have a small booth. And then if we do it the right way, Noble Simeon, if we all parts of it, the overhead will be covered. Why? Because we have a ministry there. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of stuff can be covered under the ministry. We ain't say we can't have a for-profit business.
So I know that I'll have to be the devil's advocate, like you say on this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these guys out here are saying the wrong things. But one thing that I did learn from Knucklehead, my boy Don Kalam, is that you can offer the landlord of the, let's say, the commercial property a tax write off
Mm-hmm.
for donating the property as a lease. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, and a lot of them will take you up on that, if not in whole, partially.
But did you see what you just said? That involved two parties. You see, I love what you just said. It's nothing but a discussion. It's nothing but a conversation. You don't have to do nothing slick. Just like, for instance, I'll give this analogy. And like how I got a house in the city of Flint. So I don't
Right.
have to squat in nothing. In my neighborhood in the city of Flint, most of the people left. So in the neighborhood's house is just sitting. Now, are the houses abandoned? Some of them. Do the banks own them? Some of them. Are they just some people left their houses because they owe taxes, but a lot of old people, they just left their house and it's sitting. So what I do, I find out who own these houses and I'll do a contract with them. So one house I end up getting, I tell you, I looked it up. I found the old man that owned the house. He stayed on Stockdale, around the corner from me. I stayed on Patterson. I looked him up. I said, how you doing, Mr. Jones? I don't want to say his whole name. He was like, how you doing, sir? I said, you still own a house on Stockdale, address such, 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 such. He like, yeah. You're like, yeah, I moved out of state, just sitting there, the blah, blah, neighborhood. And I said, well, my name is Kerry Goodman. I live around on Patterson. He like, Goodman. He like, Larry Goodman, son. And I said, yeah. He was like, how you doing? And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm doing great. And I said, man, well, I live in Arizona, but, I got this land bank list and I got this list from the city, from the land bank. And I see that you own this house still. And can I do a contract with you? And what do you want for it? He was like, well, you were like, man, well, he like, I got one another year. The city gonna take it because I ain't paid the taxes. He was like, I tell you what, he was like, you pay the 2-year taxes and give me this little bit, you can get the house. And that's what I did. I paid the back taxes. Yeah, because in the state of in Flint, you got 3 years behind the taxes. After the 3 years, I can work a deal with that person to pay the back taxes. We do the paperwork, everything go through. I got the house. Like that. He was like, I ain't gonna do nothing with it. He like the city finna take it from me, but he still owned the house because he went all the way behind on taxes. He had another year. Yep. He had another year. Then you gotta wait for this and all this. So he was like, I'll tell you what. We went downtown to the it's called the title place where all the titles that everybody own houses. We went down there. First we went to land bank. He showed me what he owed, the 2 years taxes. In the city of Flint, the taxes ain't nothing because we're in an urban neighborhood. I paid that, got my receipt and all this. Boom, paid him his little money, because he could have paid it. He could have went down there and paid the little 2 years. He got money like, I could have paid this little change because it wasn't nothing but change. It was $2,500. That's all the last 2 years. So I got the house for $2,500. But he boarded the house up. Yeah, it wasn't messed up. I'm gonna show a picture of it. I'm gonna share a picture of the text stream. And it's a brick house. I just got it. And he said everything is still in there. He said he just boarded up and moved to Florida. He did, and the house had been boarded up for years.
Deal with it.
Nope, He didn't want to deal with it. But he was paying the property taxes for years. None of his kids wanted it. His grandkids didn't want it. And so he was like, man, I ain't finna pay the property taxes on it. He was just gonna let it go.
Let it go.
But he was just gonna let it go. But me, when I go home, Noble Simeon, I ride through the neighborhoods. I write addresses down. I go right downtown to land bank and to the city hall and do my due diligence. And that's how sometimes I get houses instead of going through the land bank, going through all those channels and all that. I just get addresses and call those people and see what type of deal I can work. And you would be surprised, Noble Simeon, a lot of houses in an urban neighborhood like where I'm from, a lot of people left but still own the houses and paying a little property tax because it's changed. They might say, I might give it to my grandson or this, that, and the other. So I do that as well. So when you talk about building that portfolio and own that, that's another avenue as well. You know, that's something that I do as well. I was trying to introduce my muftis in when we talk about investing and like what can we do with our money. Hell, you got a group of us. We can say, well, man, we dealing with Sheik and say Noble Brian, and we buying houses in these little urban neighborhoods. We got people to fix them up. We moving our people in them. We moving seniors in them, and we using it for our portfolio. Hell, we might buy a house and turn it into a whole goddamn record studio. Somebody might do music. We turn to a whole studio to where we teaching kids how to mix and master their music. All this stuff that we can take advantage of. I'm all into real estate. I'm all into that. I'm all into building a portfolio. But I want to teach people to do it the right way to where you ain't getting scammed from no one, or you ain't seeing the land, or somebody telling you can get this house and automatically flip it. Nah, man, it don't work like that. Like, you got to have a whole crew that know how to do the work. You got to go in and look at the house to see what it's all about. And I have access to do that, so it's so many ways, like you were saying, that we can maximize things with a crew. I'm with it. I'm with all your ideas, man. So I know we've been going for about 2 hours, but it's okay, man. And anything else, Simeon, but I am going to add you into our cipher as soon as when Lamar get a chance. Maybe our next adapt meeting, before we do that, we'll add you. And we like I said,
Last thing I want to say is that Brian had he was talking right before you had got in, and he was mentioning no, it was another gentleman. I think it said Lamar.
yep, Lamar.
He was all Lamar. He was all talking, and basically was talking about how far all of the movies had came since they started. The changes that's been made. Man, I haven't even been with you guys that long, and the synergy and the confluence is just beautiful, man. And I just continue to be inspired every day with new information, with opportunity, and just really being around a lot like-minded team is so important. And I just want to share this with so many people that I know, because they need it. We need it. We need a place, especially as melanated men, as Moors, that we can come and feel welcome and secure and safe, and have a position where where we matter. We feel like we matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be. We don't have to be blood. We don't have to be Crip. We don't got to be GD. We don't got to be Vice Lord.
Right.
To have have support, have backup, have like-minded individuals, and what you call OGs or elders that's teaching us and guiding us. So I just want to just say that.
Gratitude, man. And I'll have nothing but gratitude for all I've learned so much, Simeon. Like, a lot of stuff I didn't share. Like, my baby brother was murdered. Akil Jelani Goodman Bay. My brother was murdered in the city of Flint. I seen my cousin murdered. I seen my best friend get murdered by his brother. And so a lot of it was for healing with me too, because a lot of stuff I couldn't talk about. But my brothers, they calm my spirit, and this is therapy for me as well. Because I was lost, what I mean? Saying when my brother was murdered, man, I was lost. Like, I was mad at the word. I was questioning the God, like, wait a damn minute now. Hold on. See me, like, wait a minute. Like these niggas done killed my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was, yeah. And so when people be acting like I came in, I'm a realist too, man. I was feel like the Grand Reaper for a minute. That's why to be heaven, you have to see hell. I done seen hell. I done lived it. I've experienced it. I've seen it for myself. And that's just my experience. I was hell. You know what I mean? I was walking as hell. I looked in the mirror. My wife would tell you, man, I was scared of my own self. I had to cut my hair. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, man, like something was wrong with me. I couldn't shake it because I was mad. I was angry. I was mad at the creator. Like, man, I was questioning so much. Like, man, why my brother? Like, why not me? And then, like I said, the Holy Spirit came. He was like, man, don't question this. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Like, you ain't the only one. And so my brothers allowed me to open up, allowed me to talk to it, allowed me to celebrate his life a little bit more. And that was the inspiration. Like, I used to go to a lot of the schools and talk to kids, and a lot of people knew my brother. And they'd be like, man, you look like a Kill Goodman. I was like, yeah. They're like, you Kareem? And everybody used to be like, well, how are you surviving? Like, how are you still going? And that was inspiration for me because I met so many people that brothers was killed, and they were like, well, how you surviving and all this? I said, man, I just totally gave my life to what I believe in. You know,
Mm.
that was for me. And when I met all my brothers, man, and all they inspiration and they testimonies, because man, we all done been through. Like Brian even got a story, you know, and I know Brian don't mind me saying a little bit of this. Like Brian, you know, had to figure himself out. Like he was in the world, you know, and he was like, Sheik, I had to live in my car before, you know, stuff like that. So all this stuff is inspirational, and we all have families. Look at us. Not saying we bad people, but some choices can put you in a situation that you'll be like, damn, I made a bad choice, you know? And so that's why I always tell brothers and sisters what this cipher has done for me as a getting ready to be 49, man, and I'm still a baby. This man is allowed me to be honest and open up and use all my past healing to be transparent and show brothers like, man, hey, don't be afraid of that. Use that as healing. You know, use that as where you can look back and be like, look how far we came. So I just use it for inspiration, man, and I help somebody, you know, heal
And
because
that's
they,
and that's good, and it takes strength to go through those things. But when I
mhm,
look back at the root of things, it's what we idolize as when we're growing up and the environments that we're in that
yep,
that make us into these things. We don't
yep,
have nothing to
yes,
look up to. We don't
come
have
on,
nothing to look up to.
yes,
I'm sitting here. I'm from the Bronx, New York. So when I see somebody that's doing well, it's either they a baller, they or they a gang member, or they selling drugs. That's the
yes,
only people that get respect that look like
yes,
us. You know what I mean? So
mm,
that's what we gonna be like. That's what's cool.
yep,
But if I knew about this type of knowledge and I grew up with this knowledge, I would really know what cool is. I would know
Simeon,
what I would know what to do. Like I originally now right now I'm not. I kind of I'm glad that I'm finding more melanated brothers because I got so much into the Anglo-Saxon knowledge of business because forget Pablo Escobar. There's people
right,
in business is the richest.
right,
And sometimes they're the most cutthroat, but they're
right.
the richest. Why are we sitting here idolizing ball players when we could be
Come on,
team owners? Why are we
and
sitting here idolizing drug dealers when there's people that's doing illegal like in pharmaceuticals making
yep.
billions?
Yep. Because we ain't come out
Trillions.
the womb wanting to be no. I tell everybody we ain't come out the womb wanting to be no gangsters and no thugs. That was program learned. They did that to keep us out
Program.
of business because every athlete, most of them, entertainer, all their money go back. If real talk, when they done all their days over, all my homies that I went to school with that went pro, my team cleats, all them Negroes got jobs. I hate to say it like, but I'm being truthful. Like
It's
none of them
sad.
did. They don't own nothing in the community. They don't own no houses in the neighborhoods we grew up in. Everybody come back home and sit in front of the old abandoned house, in front of raggedy ass houses. And this real. Well, I just shared something in the text stream about Sebastian Telfair, his goofy ass back in the projects and all that dumb talk after making millions. And that's what we go back to because, like you said, financial literacy is not taught,
It's
Simeon, and
not
I,
taught.
it's not taught. Financial literacy is not taught. Okay, what I'm gonna do with all these millions? If that's right now. If I'm a basketball player and I'm down with my science, I need to be linking up with Simeon. Why? Because I need to be my basketball days over. We need to own our neighborhood. We need to own all these houses and this building right here. This need to be our temple and school, and this our religious community. This is our Moorish neighborhood. When you seeing brothers in Fed zone, you seeing brother can come and learn. That's what I'm about. And I agree.
Right.
And I'm 48, Simeon. I said the same thing you said. I said, man, if I was around other elders, because yeah, we don't want to listen to our dads all the time, like that. But if we had our
Right.
older brothers and other people in the neighborhood that we looked up to with our father's support, man, we would
We
this would be what we'd be on. And I agree exactly.
exactly.
And you
That's
younger
what
than me,
I'm
Simeon.
saying.
And you
That's what
younger
I'm
than me.
saying.
And I
If
say the
they could
same
just
thing.
see it, if they could
I
just see,
see
like
it.
I don't know. I know you do because you brought me into this side. Like I found some knowledge on my own, but you brought me into this side. I know you see it because the way
Yep.
that you carry yourself, you the haberdasher. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So if
Yeah.
they can see the flawedness of it, the coolness of it, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like this is it's cool to read books. It's cool to have knowledge of self.
Yep.
It's cool to run
Yep.
a business. It's cool,
Yes.
you know, and we need
Yep.
to stop. And the thing is that I don't like about Christianity so much is that how much they chastise you and demonize you for your natural urges. And what
Yep.
more science teaches it a little bit different. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? You can learn about self and it's not like cringe or oh I'm gonna go to hell. Let me pray about this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
You know what I
It
mean?
ain't
It's
no
still
wrong having
right
a,
and
it ain't
wrong.
no wrong having no fly shit, Simeon. Ecclesiastes
Nah, it's
chapter
not.
10, verse 19. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. I always share that with brothers when they talk that money's the root to all evil. I don't want to hear that bull crap. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. Wine is made for laughter, but money trumps all. Point blank. That's biblical scripture. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. Ain't nothing wrong with having that fly stuff. Or I'm gonna say, oh, I just want a little bit. Man, I want my cup to runneth over. Why? So my moofies can benefit this. If I got an Escalade, I want my homies
Right,
to have an Escalade. Or what
right.
Mobile Simmons supposed to say, no, oh, I just want a little Yugo. But you can get an Escalade and your business all that. No, get the Escalade. What are you talking about? Get the Escalade. No, I just want this little bit. No, I just want to live. No, no. If the Holy Spirit allowing you to do that, you can take care of your family. You take care of that. You can have those things. Like now we own this earth plane. And that's what I tell people. I said, no, I'm an American. There's some things I like on this earth if I get it righteously. So if we doing good business, see me, we can have good things. We can. Because most of our life is charity, so we can have these things and it can be done the right way. But I agree 100%
It's the
like
it's the
you.
unlearning and relearning. And as soon as they
Yes.
realize, like, hey, we can teach you about the knowledge of self and more science, and we can use the Bible, we can use the Quran, we can use the Torah, we can use all of these books to show you the knowledge and where it's come from, and still be righteous without having to chastise you and demonize you for the
Yep.
different sides of yourself, the experience of learning yourself.
Yep.
You can be yourself,
Yep.
and shine.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And not be
Yep.
hated. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah, and like I said, I appreciate this movement, and I just want more people to know about this, especially that look like us, so that we
Yep.
can feed them the right way. You know?
I agree. And Simeon, and as I close, like even with the brother like Killam and Jonah Bay, like I love all them brothers. And that's one thing when they meet me, they be like, man, one dude said, man, you just whooped me, but hugged me and made me cry. I had a brother tearing up. And I ain't gonna say his name, like he used to be on the internet cockeye, or I ain't gonna have braids, and I chastised him in a good way. I said, dude, I understand what y'all doing. Believe me, I do, but you're going about it the wrong way. I understand the people that have been subjugated, and then you think you can do all this and all that. But if we can't sit down and you think you're the smartest knife in the drawer, and what you're doing can be challenged one by no one, you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be doing nothing. If somebody say, okay, well, can we sit down on the panel and can you explain this? And you get upset when people asking you questions, you shouldn't be doing it. You should be doing everything you should be able to do with love, and it can be proven no matter if you're white, black, orange, purple, and green. And so
Right.
anybody that's doing that stuff, I understand what they're doing. If they heart is pure, I understand we should be talking about finances. I do. I understand all that, but it's a way to do these things. And until we do it collectively, you're gonna always have these individuals that figured out, oh, I can make some money off these stupid niggas. I hate to say it like that because that's how I feel. Well, they how I feel. That's how I know how they feel about the average person. They just ain't saying it to people on the internet. They saying it to their immediate circle because they gotta talk that. It's called premeditation. In law, it's premeditated. That means I already came up with this before I brought it out to you. So that's why it's premeditated. The same way when you kill somebody, we like, oh man, if you don't just handle it right then and you leave and come back and get a weapon, Brian, you know what I'm talking about. Remember that case she was asking me about, or that person? Remember Brian?
Yes, sir.
And what we talking about, you had to give me the facts. I said, give me the facts. I said, you give me the facts, I can tell you what's gonna happen. We did with the facts, didn't we, Brian?
Yep, and that's exactly what ended up happening too.
I see. And when people be honest, I say you got to be honest with me, because if you're not, then I can't diagnose it right. But when you be honest, all this stuff is premeditated. And so when they go to court, they can be like, "Oh, you thought about this? What you did? You went home, you wrote a whole plan out, you wrote this whole scheme out to premeditate, defraud your own people." So that's why I laugh at them, and I'm like, "This all premeditated." What you mean? All premeditated, a scam. So that's worth as somebody killing you. That's why I said what they doing, what the prophet did. They putting us back in slavery, right? Because it's all premeditated. Think about it. It's the same. It's the same thing. What they've been premeditated to get you caught up in the web, and so then when you get caught up, who going to defend you in court? Watch this. Not them, are they? Not the person that told you to do that, right?
Right.
Come on. The dude Don Killam ain't gonna be in court with you right there. He gonna be like, "Man, you crazy. You know who you gonna get? You're gonna get a court-appointed attorney. And you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna plead to a lesser charge. So when you plead to a lesser charge, you know what you're doing? You are admitting that you're guilty. Done. Stick a fork in you. It's that simple. I know what I'm saying. If anybody say I'm not lying, I start telling you names. I'm trying to be politically correct. I say, dude, it's a way to do all this stuff. So for me,
I tell you
I just say,
straight up, I had a they tried to get me for penalty of perjury
mm-hmm,
because I was on something called first offender, and Brian might know about that. They got it in Georgia. And getting my trucking license, it was a self-defense case, but it was my first charge, and I didn't know how to go about it. Not so you're supposed to tell them the eminent domain, that whole thing, superior size and strength. I was like 130 pounds at the time. The dude's like 6'5", 280, and he gets drunk. He's my co-driver in a truck, and he says he want to kill me. He tries to,
mm,
grab my throat inside of the cab of the truck. And he ended up getting stabbed one time. Not even go crazy on him. It's after I left the military or whatever. I didn't go crazy on him. I just got him up off me. And, I couldn't stick and move inside that small cab. So
mm-hmm,
but I had left because I know that from what he told me, he gets into it. So I had left the scene or whatever, try to get away from the situation. I'm thinking he calling his peoples because he from Georgia.
mm-hmm.
And he and this big dude talking about he gonna kill me, drunk, all of that, calls the police on me.
Yep.
So I ended up getting in some trouble or whatever the case is. And I ended up getting the charge, whatever. Push come to shove, they had me in jail for almost a year. No court cases. They tried to say I was facing 20 years, all types of stuff. The dude lied on me, said I stabbed him over a key, all types of shit. But at the time the trial's supposed to come, because I got this whole defense that I'm making up. I started reading books and stuff because I didn't know nothing at first. But so I gave it to my lawyer. He didn't care. You know what I'm saying? He just said when I got to the trial thing and I brought my witness, even though he said not to, this is my lawyer now. He's like, you could go home today if you just plead to it. And put you on
Mm-hmm.
something on first offender. If you're good like you say you are, then you'll be
Yep.
all right. So they put me on. So and then mind you, they even let me go that day. They told me I'd be able to go home today. They even let me go that day. It was like 8 days later to get my credit for 10 months. My credit for 12 months and 10. I get my 2 years, good 2 months, good time.
Right.
And then they put me on an 8-year tail. 8
Yep.
years, right? So I started getting into the knowledge, and I was like, I wasn't done right, and that's what really a lot of people get into the knowledge for. And I started looking it up, and I look on the docket in Georgia. It says order for termination. So I'm like, oh shoot, because upon completion of my probation, my rights
Yep.
are restored. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? So
Yep.
I know what the difference between a petition and the order is. I'm like, oh, it's an order. I said, I'm on probation because I was
Yep.
unsupervised for a while. They let me truck, whatever the case is. So for my birthday, I wanted to get me a weapon. So they had them questions there if I was a felon or whatever. I said no because my
Yeah.
rights are restored.
Right.
Now they put it on hold, and then I was like, hold on, this is weird. Now either they're not communicating or something's going on. So let me call them. I called them, and the clerk had fucked up. Basically,
Yep.
the order was right there in front of them, but the judge
Yep.
didn't sign it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I'm like, damn, fuck. So I figured out I get it all situated, I get it finalized. But then almost a year later, Pennsylvania called me like, yeah, you're a felon. You tried to get a gun. I was like, what? I'm not a felon. I got paperwork to prove that. He's like, well, I'm gonna press these charges, and that sounds like a good defense. Good luck. I'm like, I can send it to you right now. He's like, no, good luck. And hangs up the phone on me. So I'm like, damn. So I use all of that paperwork that I was getting from multiple people trying to even put my own spin on it. And it all
Yeah.
made sense. It all was good. Straight ignored me.
Yep.
Ignore. You
Yep.
know, I had to really like. I was like, okay, well, this is what you got to do. You have your court guideline. Each court county has its own like guidelines for court that you got to
Yep.
follow through with. That you can't even get your paperwork in. They're not trying to hear you.
Yep.
But like I said, I used more traditional methods, but I did throw in a wit of poor Warren Toe because they was doing a lot of things that were out of their procedure, like for like just for like arraignment. The judge is supposed to read you your charge
Yep.
and explain it to you. Well, they had everybody in the basement, and each table represented a judge, and the only person that was sitting at the table was the prosecutor. I was like,
Yep.
this is crooked. You know what I'm saying? So I put in the
Yep.
poor warrant. So I want to see that you guys have delegation of authority from Congress. That's really the only paperwork that I use that some of the pseudo law or the sovereign citizens, or like you like to say, paper terrorists use that I have put in
Mhm.
there. But that's a writ, just to make sure that they're doing things using the right procedure and that they got,
Absolutely.
authority, but that's not me saying, oh, no law can affect me or whatever. But then I have
Yep.
figured out that there's two elements for most crimes, except like statutory rape and involuntary manslaughter, stuff like that. There's not two elements. It's actus rea, that's the act that is illegal or prohibited. And then they have
Yep.
mens rea, that's the mind. For
Yep.
most charges, they have to prove that you had the mind to, like you were talking about, premeditated. They
Yep.
have to they have to prove that you were had
Motive.
the mindset to and a motive to commit a crime. And I'm like, my case was, hey, I have my minister paperwork. I wrote a book. I'm showing them all that I'm taking care of my kid. I ain't getting this was a misunderstanding. I'm not going to just walk into a gun store and go get a gun if I don't think that I'm allowed to. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense. So
Yep.
I did that. Then I had to get like what a FOIA request, but for Georgia, it's not federal, so it's state. It's a specific FOIA request for them to get them to give me the information because right before I had to go for to start the case go and everything for my hearings, they changed the whole docket. And when I called them, they tried to play stupid. So I had to find out what that FOIA request thing is, and which a lot of these paper terrorists help me understand what that is, but I didn't
Yep.
do everything that they did. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I had got that
And
information, got the county clerk to send over that seal from the clerk, and then I
yep.
sent all that information to them, and they ended up giving me a nole proske or whatever. It called me to they took it away from the senior deputy district attorney when I started sending that paperwork in, the court warrant told suppression and the in lemonade and also the whole bunch of shit they had to respond to. They pushed it up to the assistant district attorney. He's like, yeah, and this is not in the best interest of justice for us to pursue this case. So you're good to go. You don't even have to come in. Boo, 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 boo. You know.
Yep. Because see certain genre. I tell you my personal experience. Anybody got the fella, you can get a gun. Like it's a certain like in Arizona when it just depends on certain time. It just depends on if you have multiple felonies at the time. You can get a person that got a felony can get a gun. That's number uno. A lot of people don't know that, but it's law. All you got to do is look at certain areas, look at the state. Felons can get a gun. You know, felons can get a gun. I've been in trouble. I just don't like guns. But yeah, man, Simeon, it's just it's so much to know. It's so much to learn, and not knowing that can get you in trouble. But like a lot of people in this science, they don't understand how the laws work. They don't understand that the judge really is nobody. We talk about the clerks because see, all that paperwork go through the clerk. That's like
Copy.
that see
Right.
that's what, and see that's what people don't know. What all the paperwork go through the clerk, all the signature go to the clerk, everything. And like you said, after you went through all that stuff, and they said the judge didn't sign it, the clerk had it. Like all that stuff was there. So that ain't on you now. It's another thing of that could have brought some type of you can bring up charges for them for not doing their due diligence because it brought you
Yeah,
harm.
and litigate. Exactly.
I'm,
That's
I'm
a
telling you, like this is
violation,
what
a
I
due
know, and
process.
and
That's
and
a
and when I
civil rights violation
yep,
right there.
off the top. And I tell people, if you're gonna do that to me, I'm gonna reserve my right what to do the same thing you did to me. That's the only thing that I'll be down with. What reserving my right? What to take your ass to court just like you taking me to court to prove what I'm proving. And the person that don't show up automatically shows they lose. So for me, if just like Hebus Corpus, I just know enough. You know what I mean? If even with attorneys, if I feel that you ain't defending me in my best interest, man, I gotta. It's law and president in law cases and doc cases to protect me from that. And so I tell everybody all these things. It's like, wait a minute. So they didn't do their due
If you
diligence.
talking
So
like that, they're not putting their bar card in the line. They either not going to take the case or they're not about to play with you. You know
yeah,
what I'm
they ain't gonna play
saying?
with you. I done been there. I done been there. Like a lot of stuff I don't talk about. I done been there. And so it's just like an air. I used to live in Tucson. Man, I used to get when I moved in Tucson, man. I remember one day I was walking and I was just talking. I think my Moofties was there. I was live. And somebody called a white dude called the police on me. I was walking. They were like, it's a man out here with a turban on just walking around. Woo, 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 woo. Real
What?
talk. I swear to God.
Crazy.
No, I'm in Tucson. I'm walking, doing my little trail, talking, doing my little live. So police pull up on me. Woo! I said, man, I hope you know what you're doing. Like I'm live. Like literally, I'm live walking. I said, ma'am,
Yeah,
I hope you
yeah,
know
I
what you're
remember that
doing.
day. I remember that day.
Yep. He like, I don't even want to get out. He like, God damn. He like, sir, can I talk to you? I said, I ain't saying nothing. I said, I don't really have conversation with police that's on duty. I said, cause then we gonna get into a conversation. I ain't gonna let you bet me. And then she's like, well, wait, can I talk to you? I was like, am I under arrest? She like, no. People like, well, am I detained? I never asked nobody, am I detained? Am I under arrest? No. Well, I'm keep it pushing. Cause if I ain't under arrest, what they say, well, you detained. What the fuck I'm detained for? See, I don't play that. You asking the person, are you detained? Ain't no crime been broken. Somebody can call the police and say anything. I ain't got to answer shit. Well, we got an investigation going on. I ain't got to participate in your fucking investigation. Excuse my candor, but I'm saying it like that. What I'm telling brothers and sisters,
You can
certain
charge
things,
them for your time too. You know, I think it's
brother.
like I think one guy got it's a case law for like $2,000 a minute. You know
Yep,
what I'm saying? You can charge them.
in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What I think I sent that to you by Charles A. Wiseman. You look in there, it's there when you being detained. That's anytime you get like, say if the police pull you over or whatever, and you got your license and registration, and they say they detain you or they want to put you in handcuffs in the back seats. Well, that's false imprisonment. That's false imprisonment. What's false imprisonment? What you stopping me from going where I want to go? Where you going? I can be going nowhere. I can be going in circles. I don't have to be going nowhere. That's false imprisonment. You can and it's certain a level of crime, just like small claims court. Remember, in small claims courts, it's a certain amount of number that you can't exceed, and it's the same thing with this, like false imprisonment. That's a crime. You got to know this. Anytime you being stopped from doing what you need to go from traveling, if you legit, that's false imprisonment. And I tell everybody to read Charles A. Wiseman and understand it, and then come back and have some real conversations. And then also, the law governs all events. When more really get to see that, you'll be like, wait a minute, I know how to operate. Because that stuff, talking to a regular cop, do you know this, and the other? No, regular cop don't know none of that. The whole thing is to go home and go to court if you have to defend yourself. It's not to get into no verbal confrontation with no person in no uniform that went to police academy for a week and a half. He ain't go to law
Yeah, they
school.
got exactly, exactly.
This person ain't go to law school, so everything you telling him, they don't know. I promise you, they like a lot of stuff now. What they do have in their pocket, they have a sovereign citizen a thing where you start talking a certain language, they be like, "Oh, this sovereign citizen noise." So they got a warning sign for that as well. Sometimes it
I've
works
seen
depending
it. I
on
read it.
yeah. Depending on if the
Yeah.
cops don't want to deal with it, they don't know. But what I'm saying for a fact, been through this, been pulled over a plethora of times, for well, you was speeding all this. Man, you wasn't speeding. Show me on your radar. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to court. Most times they don't even show up. Cause I'll be there. I'll be live. I'll be recording everything when I be driving. Why? For my proof. I'll be having, sometimes I have my phone on my speedometer and I'm like, you lying. I'm gonna go to court and I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna defend and I'm gonna put charges on you. What? For wasting my time, for false imprisonment. I could have been doing something else. It's a certain pay for this. That's small claims court. So I play the same game as they play. Or you want to play the court game? I'll play the court game too. I'm showing up. I ain't broke no laws. So I tell everybody this: when you drive and you got your license and registration, and the police pull you over, and you give them your license and registration, and they tell you you're not under arrest, but you being detained, and you ain't broke no laws, man, I'm hollering at you. What? I'm finna hit your oath of office. What you mean? I ain't gonna tell you that, but you have an oath to what? To protect the Constitution. That's the oath of office. Every police officer has an oath of office and a bond. Point blank, asking what they oath for office is to defend the Constitution. See, these is facts. And so it's a certain level of understanding. And I tell everybody, never get into a verbal confrontation with a regular police officer. They don't know nothing. If they're going to give you a ticket and all that, you ain't got to sign. Ain't no law saying you got to sign no ticket. You know what I tell people? Well, he said it's time. Take the ticket. You ain't admit no guilt, but show up. Show up and defend yourself. I tell everyone that. And the last thing I want to say, like with your situation with that gun, if you had, with your situation, Simeon, where when you was at work and you registered to get your gun, if you had someone that was representing you in your best interest, like your legal own, what was that show with Thurgood Marshall? And he had his the other dude is his legal representative, the person that represents you in the best interest, where they go look up all the precedent and law cases, the doc numbers, and the free information. Paralegal. That's what I do. And so I don't never tell nobody don't get no attorney. I say, you got your attorney? Now you better hire me as well. Why? To be a watchdog for your attorney. So I might be in court right there, sitting right there, and your damn attorney or your lawyer out there playing stupid.
The attorney doesn't do none of that. They got paralegals that do all of that research for them.
Or they play stupid. They'll act like they don't know.
They play stupid. Yeah.
Because they'll have to tell you about
court.
They
know procedure. They don't be studying law as much as procedure.
Yep. They ain't gonna tell you. They ain't gonna tell you precedent in law case. They ain't gonna tell you a doc number and a Free Information Act. Precedent in law cases and doc numbers and Free Information Act. Precedent in law case. I'm gonna get a case that the same person did it. They might be a European and judge my client in the same parameters as this person that you had in your cases. You can't make no example of this person. Why? Because in your chambers, you had this same so-called crime or infraction, and this is what happened. Judge my brother in the same parameters of this. And so you got to know this stuff to be able to bring this stuff to these lawyers and judges to hold them accountable. And if you don't know that, don't you know the damn attorney or the lawyer work for the courts? What you mean? He gonna get paid or she gonna get paid regardless if he or she win or lose. They still get paid.
Yes, they go into lunch and playing golf right after you get 100 years.
Yeah. Why you think they can go in the chambers and it's called the verbiage will come to me. It'll come to me where it's almost like I can work a deal. I forget the proper verbiage. I have to go in my notes. But it's
settlement.
No, it's a language where I can go in and make an agreement with the judge, and when I come to court, all I'm doing is playing arena back and forth because we already done came up with an agreement in the chambers. It'll come to me in a minute, but yeah, we already go in the chambers and come into agreement. We just playing arena. We just hitting the ball. We just playing tennis. But both attorneys know the outcome because we went in there and did an agreement. So that happens too. It's called that. Is it a quid pro quo? Quid pro quo. I might be pronouncing it wrong. I think I'm right though.
Quid pro quo is something for something.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's it. That's it. It's something for something. So when you see these lawyers and prosecutors, they be in the judge chambers. The prosecutor and the defense. That's what they be in there doing. Quid pro quo. Something for something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I definitely understand that. And the prosecutor, especially, and the lawyer. And
Mhm.
the judges like, yeah, let's go. I
And
just
see,
seen so many people rights get violated right in front of my face. I just be now that I know, you gotta be able to see with that eye. Because
yep.
if you can't, if you don't know anything about, I don't know why they don't teach none of this stuff in school. You know, it's really an attack on the people to not
Well,
to not
they teach
give
it.
this information.
They teach it in the okay. I'm gonna be honest. They teach it in the European fraternals. I have to be honest. They a lot of most of my Scottish Rite Mason brothers that's in fraternities at Harvard, Oxford, in the basement they have Gnostic libraries. That's why Bobby Hemmett know what he know. These they are educators. Bobby Hemmett, C. Freeman L. They went to college. They
But
they
I'm
they
talking
they
about
they
it like middle school minimum. You know
right
what I'm
right
saying?
right right
Middle
right.
school, they should start on that learning the rights and how to enforce and defend your rights and what's what. Because you
Yep.
just walking around thinking, and everybody has this indoctrination that as soon as the cop says you did something wrong, that means you're wrong. Like the cop can never be
Yep.
wrong.
Yep. And see,
Just
I don't
because
play that.
and just because you're getting convicted of something that automatically you could never really or the word slips me,
Reestablish.
but you
Yep.
reestablish yourself after that. Like you can never
Yep.
come back from that shit.
Totally
And
false.
that's
And I'm
they came to
totally
me with
false.
an awesome deal. I should have took it, but I was like, no, I'm gonna fight it because I know I'm not guilty. They was like, yeah, we're
Yep.
just gonna give you a misdemeanor and you'll be good. Mind you, that felony was the only thing that's on my criminal record. And
Yep.
I'm like, no, I just got this expunged. I don't want nothing on there. They're like, oh, you want
Yep.
to play with me? I said,
Yep.
we're not playing with you. Or some shit like that. They try to start threatening me and getting loud with me and shit. You
Yep.
know?
I went through it, man. I went through when I was expunging my record because I had got, when young, I got caught up with a little case. I got caught up with a little case. I thought I was a hustler dealing with my brother and them,
Right.
and the knowledge that I knew with my dad. That's why I said my dad is an elder. My dad went through masonry, but I'm my dad's teacher. He denounced a lot of that stuff because he was like, oh,
Mm.
he saw the game. Like you said, it ain't about money. It's about your affiliation. I hate to tell
Right.
people that, but I said you got to know this. And it's like when all these rich people get in trouble and they kids and that attorney, that Jewish attorney, go in there and be like, oh, it's your son. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of it. It's their affiliation. You know what I mean? And so when Moors be getting in trouble and they be like, and I say, well, who's defending these Moors in the best interest? They'll all of them have corner appointed attorneys. And the brothers that be acting like they defending themselves, they go to jail. I'm being honest, or they be looked at as crazy, or they be harassed all the time, or they lose. Like with me, like I got my record expunged with no more stuff and no nothing. This basic law. Like I knew the law. Like in the city of Michigan, after a certain amount of time, you can get a felony off your record if you don't have nothing else on it. You know what I mean? You can get it
Right.
expunged. It's a very simple process. What you mean? You can get your guns as well. All that. I don't want no gun. I choose not to have no gun. And then like when I met a brother, he was dealing with this dude on the internet because it's going on right now. The dude like child support, you can end child support, this, not and the other. And I say, dude, everybody lost, especially in the state of Michigan. That's not a federal case. It's not a federal case. You take that to the feds, you lose. The state picks that up. It's state and local. I'm sorry. Just like driving without license, I mean, that's not a federal case. That's state and local. But people get it twisted and they go on and they go through all that. They'd be like, man, this brother was right all along. I said,
Oh, what
dude.
what they say was federal is the right to travel when
Mhm.
your constitutional, not your state constitution, but your federal constitutional rights
Mhm.
are infringed upon. The state has no jurisdiction over that unless they decide to pay attention to it or it's aligned with the state constitution. If you feel
Mhm.
like your federal constitutional rights was infringed upon, then you have to appeal it to Supreme Court
Yep.
or to an
I-
appellate court.
Yep. It's just so, like I said, individuals doing things on their own instead of nations doing it. And I say that's the big deal of
Yeah, because
everything.
if they had 50, if they
Yep.
wasn't doing, first off, if they wasn't doing nothing crazy, because
Come on.
you shouldn't be out here starting trouble. But
Come on.
if we all went, there's 50 of us here,
Yes.
you know,
Yes. Yes.
supporting our brother because we know he was
Yes.
in the right,
Yes.
and we can attest to it, and
Yes.
we know the law, we know the steer decisive, the precedent in the
Yes.
cases. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to fuck with that. I'm not gonna
Nope,
fuck with that.
nope.
They'll be like, okay, okay,
That's the
but we ain't
difference.
gonna
That's the
sit here and
battle.
support people that are just doing fuck shit. Don't get me
Yep.
wrong, I've done fuck shit too. You know
Me
what I
too.
mean? But the stuff even when you do fuck shit though, they still have you have to have some type of
Representation.
no. You have to have some type of honor, integrity, and when you hold a position of public office like that, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I don't care if you can't win, you know what I'm saying, without doing some fucked up shit. That means you can't win. Don't sit here and become a criminal when you hold an office of public service. You can't be
Yep.
a prosecutor trying to tell the cops to plant drugs on people or whatever and doing all of this stuff just to get a conviction, to lie, to withhold evidence. That makes you're just as much of a criminal as the people that you put in behind bars.
And now you
You know what
see
I'm saying?
Nova Simeon, and I agree with we talk about the city councilmen and all these people that we vote in office. When people say they voted on a local, man, we don't hold these people accountable for nothing's going on. People don't know nothing, and that's what I say. I'm in the politics in my city. I know what's going on. That's why we don't have nothing, and that's why most people don't recognize their Moore's legacy. You can go to any city hall and go to any mayor's office, and it's in their records that we were before the Civil War, we were Moors. And so I agree. Like we have to, if we doing things right, brothers have to be represented when they doing things. It need to be a body behind it. I agree. I agree 100% that brothers doing things the right way because we do have rights. There's certain things that we can't be protected, but it, they like shit. All these brothers that say they Moors, or then you got these brothers that just doing this redemption package. Hell, if I was the person looking on the outside looking in, I'll say all y'all crazy until I meet someone that's really telling the truth. I'll get a bad taste of this goofy Moor stuff. Cause I did. I told people, I said, man, I'm down with my Moor signs, but the average Moor that I've met, man, when I was young in my stage, when I was meeting older elders and men, I was like, man, y'all old niggas crazy. Excuse my candor. I had my temple out here. I had all these older men in my temple.
Yeah.
All of them went to jail. All of them. These
Oh
older men,
man.
you know. So
Oh man,
yeah,
that's
I
sad
just
to hear.
yep. But we've been
And
going
the,
for a
the
minute,
last
man.
the last thing I'm about to hop off too. I'm just working that fire while I'm yapping up a storm.
No, that's
But
fine.
the last thing that I'll say is um if we all had the right minds and was doing it with a clean heart, then we would start with who are we? Human beings, right? And
Yes.
we all have inalienable rights, and that's what it
Yes.
starts with. That's it. That's really all. That's people
Yes.
just doing so many confusing processes, and you're just confusing yourself. You're going down a rabbit hole you don't need to go down. Just
Yep.
understand the basics, and you'll know what's right and what's wrong, and how to defend that and enforce that. That's it. Now,
Yep.
if you want to communicate with the authorities, then you can do some more studying to communicate
Yep.
effectively and then get your point, articulate your point
Yep.
effectively. You know what I
Yep.
mean? But it
I
just it's
know
off the
exactly what you
basics of
mean.
what's right and what's wrong. And that
Yep.
goes off you just understanding the basics. The
Yep.
basics, you know?
And that's just like in sports. Like, and that's a beautiful analogy. It's like in basketball or anything. I'm gonna teach you the basics first. I'm gonna teach you the chest pass. I'm gonna teach you the bounce pass. We ain't gonna start off throwing behind the back because you're
Yeah,
gonna go out of
dunking.
bounds first. We ain't gonna start off all that. You ain't gonna start off with the Euro. I want you to get the 2-step first before you can lay up on the right. I want you to do all that. It's basics first. Once you understand the basics behind the back stuff, you can get to that. But the basics will get you there. The basics, like you said, to give you a clear understanding, be like, I need to learn the basics before I've been doing all this. The basics to get you set. And you'll be like, man, let me stick to the basics. The behind the back ain't for everyone. Everybody ain't gonna get to that level of dunk. Everybody gonna go through that whole thing, but people can get the basics. And once you deal with the basics, you let the expertise deal with that. And as you grow and
Right.
as you learn, and that's what it's about. But people don't even want to get the basics. They want to go straight to the step back, want to go straight to the James Harden step back. It's like, dude, like, come on, you don't even know the basics,
You can't
I
even
want to do it.
dribble.
You can't even dribble. Well, I deal with advanced civics. What? Like, when did this happen? I help people get out of jail. Well, let me see your precedent in cases that the brother that you helped, the cases that you won. Well, what you mean? Well, get off my page. Well, you say you help people win. How many cases have you won? I ain't won no cases. See what I'm saying? You ain't won no cases. Well, what we talking about? What the proof? It's no proof. Just like Wolf of Wall Street, my favorite movie. Just prove it to me. You say you make 70,000 a week, man. You should prove that. I'm coming to work with you right now. Can I
Right
work with
now.
you? I'm coming with you right now. You can't be mad at me if I'm saying, yeah, man, I make $70,000 a week, Noble Simeon. And you like, Sheik, that's Cap. And I'll be like, Cap, you be like, well, can you show me? Can you prove it? 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Prove all things and hold fast to what is good. I need to shut my mouth if I can't do it. I need to shut my mouth and stop lying. And Thomas wasn't doubting when he said you can walk on water. Thomas was just like in the Bible, man, you the one came to me and said you can walk on water. Show me. I ain't doubting nothing. I want you to show me. So if you're doing that, I'm with you all the way. Once you show me that, hey, I'm with it. And so that's what I always tell people. Ask for proof. If anybody saying, oh, man, you can do this, ask for proof. Oh, I did this. Show me some proof. Open up the portfolio and watch they get mad. I don't care about how many people you talk about, these your students, how many people won with that stuff. And if you stand this people doing, show me your record. Just like you say, oh, we won a championship. Okay, well, then that means to get to the playoffs, you got to have a winning record. Show me you won. You can't. It's all generalities. And you can do this, and you can do this, and this, and you can do this. Well, why haven't you done it? Well, just show me yours. Show me all the stuff you got. Open up your portfolio. And when I tell people that, they be like, what you mean? Open up your portfolio, and everything you telling me, it should be in your portfolio. All the money you make and all the stuff that you said that I can get, you should already have that, right? Yep. But see, that's all I'm saying. Why are you telling me I can have all this? Did you do it? Or are you telling me all this stuff? No, you should be the example. You should have videos of all that shit that you go into court, all the stuff that you telling me to do and sign all this. You should have all proven document of your black ass doing it. Excuse my candor. And if you don't have proof of you doing it in real time, man, shut up. Shut up. That's like Thomas, just like the Wolf of Wall Street. Show me you doing this. But they got their cameras on every other time, Simeon. All other time they got their cameras on recording all this. But now when it's time to do this, ain't no cameras on, huh? Ain't no cameras on showing you doing all this stuff, but the cameras on you talking. Telling me, can put the cameras on when you actually doing this stuff. You see? And they not gonna do it. Put the cameras on showing me you going to court doing this. Put the cameras on showing you filed all this and you got this return on some money and you got this, prove it. You'll get them mad. But thank y'all for this cipher, man. It was a good build. Thank you, Noble Brian, for opening up the cipher. And like I said, each week, man, anything y'all want to talk about, let's just have this open dialogue because we're going to save some people. And we're going to have people to come to our scheduled speakers when this be systematic. But these regular conversations that we have and open like this, clearly, this is how we're going to reach people. This is how we're going to have people to come in and ask questions. Hell, and we going to mess around and get people that might have been dealing with some of these people. We might get some people that come in and be honest that's been dealing with RV Bay Publishing or might have deal with some of that what they call themselves that Moors Ride on the Moors and all that. We'll get people. Oh, and another thing I want to say, Simeon, I can see the document of one of the brother. His name started with a V, Vincent, and he told everything. When it went into a fake Moorish court in the basement with the dude that called himself the what he called himself, the president of Morocco, got his head bust wide open on the edge of the highway. He went to jail. But then the dude telling his whole case, the dude Vincent said that he was a truck driver making $250,000 a year. And he gonna listen to them goofy people and end up giving up his CDL, all that, and lost his job and all that, and told everything. And so that's what I've been telling people. People have got into that science listening to people. And I ask who you listening to and talk about, you don't need driver license to drive these trucks. And a goofy Negro listened to him, lost his CDL, lost his job. Yeah, he told it all, all on video. And when they went to court, all the judge and the prosecutors did. You know what they did? They went right on YouTube. And played that whole thing, him telling on everything, told on Jamal, told on how it was all premeditated. He told everything. It's pretty much the court didn't have to do nothing. All you got to do is watch the YouTube video and you'll be like, this nigga stupid. He really told everything, all the information to this fake Moorish conflict to these Negroes in a basement smell like a mothballs. And he thought he was in some
Crazy.
Moorish court. And he done told everything, the whole case, how it was all premeditated, how they didn't get pulled over. He pulled over willingly, like it was all premeditated. And not only Jamal, it was another dude. And I tell people, these people is agents, but they be mad. I be like, dude, all you got to do is see what happened. And my man told everything. He was like, everybody got arrested, but them two dudes got put in the ambulance. When they talk about they act like they played a sonic boom, but that's a whole nother story. What I'm telling y'all, man, like you'll be like, Sheik, how do you know all this? Because I know everybody. I've been into this science. I've been into it for a long time. I didn't say nothing. I know people real names, and I know people that have been caught up with police, and then the police will use you as an informant. What? To get everybody else, and for you can get a lesser charge. And that's how the ride of the Moors got all those people in trouble. Look at them. Look at all the people that lost their lives and went to jail and still in jail and still going to court. No disrespect. Jamal, that whole ride of the Moors domain, somebody bought that. Y'all know that? See, people don't even know this stuff. You know, that the ride of the Moors, the whole domain, all that stuff was purchased by a whole nother group. All that stuff, man, even the Canyonland Moors. Y'all ever heard of the Canyonland Moors?
No,
With
I haven't heard of it.
See, with all these sheiks, all of them was affiliated, all these people affiliated with the ride of the Moors and all that, and then now they act like they don't know because it was all hogwash. I be telling people, these ex-military people, they be the ones that be these militia want to overthrow the government, not you, not Simeon. I be knowing a lot of these people be ex-military, they be mad at the government, and they come out playing that stupid ass GI Joe shit. Excuse my candor, with regular people because they mad at the government. They mad at all the shit they did. But in the military, they want nothing but some low ass rank officers. See, they don't know I know this. But Negro that been in the army for damn near 20 years and you still a goddamn low ranking officer. It got to be a reason why your competence level ain't shit. I'm just being honest. Everybody know what I'm saying. You know, so and you got to be careful who you play with when people say the white man is and all that, and then you be researching these people and they work for white people on their farms. They be living in these people garages and they don't have nothing. And so be careful of a person that can dress up and look like the Iron Sheik on the internet. And that's all I be telling people. Be careful when you're dealing with people with these fictitious names and y'all don't even be, and people don't even be knowing these people real names. So when you be like, oh, this is such and such Sheik Alibaba, they be like, who the hell is Sheik Alibaba? A whole fictitious name. My name is Kari Goodman. You know, I just annex my L or Bay. My name is Kari Hakeem Goodman. That's my name. I annex my L or Bay. You know, I don't have no fictitious. My name is Sheik Al Hajj, all that. I ain't that. I'm Kari Goodman Bay. That's who I am. That's my handle. Who? Kari Goodman Bay. I don't have no Muslim name. Oh, well, I got to change my name to a Muslim name. Why? All I got to do is annex my L or Bay to my name that my mama gave me. What are we talking about? You see? I don't got to change my name. You know, I'm my mama. I'm a Goodman. You a cook. You annex your L or Bay. And if your inheritance was attached to your name that your mama gave you, if your great-great-granddaddy was like, I'm looking for all my cooks, and you listen to some jackleg nigger on the internet talk about your last name is some slave name, and you get up your name. But then when your great-grandfather looking for you, you like, here I am, great-granddad. And they be like, you ain't no cook. Oh, yes, I am. I listened to this nigger on the internet, and he said my last name was a slave name. Well, you ain't obey your mothers and your forefathers. You don't even know nothing about your family crest and your coat of arms. You just totally gave up your whole family lineage for a morsel. Listen to some jackleg on the internet. And I tell everybody as I close, research your family crest, aka your coat of arms. The European copied you. You have a family crest and a coat of arms. And once you understand that, everything else will start falling down and we'll start asking questions. We'll start having ciphers as a body politic to do things the right way, like Simeon said. Because I tell everybody, we do have a right. We do have a right of a nationality, the right to change it. No one will be arbitrary of a nationality and a right to change it. The claim a child replaces the birth certificate. You got the right to annex your L or Bay. That's the House Joint Resolution. So all these things, it do need to be recognized, Noble Simeon. And we do have a way that we can be a nation in a nation on this earth plane. I agree 100% with you. And the police, they just have a job. That's their job to do. It's like we got a job to do. What? To enforce the Constitution. To enforce the Constitution so our human rights don't be violated. That's our job. So our brothers can know who they are. So if anything happen, they don't get violated in the courts. They don't get violated by the judges, by the police, by that. And it be people there that can claim them in their best interest. That can say, no, you can release them to us, and we'll be accountable. See, that's what we don't have. We don't have a body be like, okay, release them under us, release them to the BBT. They're gonna be doing this. They're gonna be out here doing this. Release them to us, because we adopted them. That's what
Right.
people don't have. And I tell people, like, when you under this officer, you are adopted. Where are your peers that can vouch for you? So if you don't have no peers that can vouch for you, and Simeon have peers that can vouch for him, and if he get into a little infraction or something, or have to go to jail or be held for a certain crime, we all coming. And the sheik gonna be able to vouch for his character and be like, I know this brother. Well, you can release him under OR bond to us, and we accountable. We accountable. But brothers don't have that. We don't have that. And so we need that again for brothers can be held accountable and what not to do and how to stand strong. And so when we out in the world, it's a certain way that we accountable. I tell everybody this. It's a certain way to respond to the police when you get pulled over. You got your license and registration and proof of insurance. You don't got to say nothing. You got the right to remain silent. You don't got to talk to them. I don't talk to police. I tell everybody this all day. No, I don't talk. I don't want to talk to no cop. I ain't getting into no small talk with you. I ain't answering no questions. I'm not doing nothing. License and registration, proof of insurance. Here you go. Where you going? Man, hell. That's how crazy I am. When you ask me something stupid, I'm going to say something stupid right back. Where you going? Where you going? I ain't going nowhere. Where you going? You there driving in circles? Hell yeah. I can drive in circles if I want to. I ain't going in nowhere. So you put gas in your car just to drive around the corner. Yes. So understand this. Understand your rights and do it the right way, and we will have no problem. But thank y'all for your time, man. Brian, thank y'all for your time. This was a beautiful bill. I love y'all, man. And if we got time every day to have these conversations, we can. We can start talking about documents. I want to start talking about that allodial deed concept, because somebody just hit me up right now. Was like, Sheik, we in trouble. And I'm like, what? He like, I done did what this dude said, and we getting ready to lose our property. I told you. He just emailed. I told the brother this. Who you listening to? Stop listening to these people. Well, I'll tell y'all what happened. The brother stopped paying his bills and all this, and somebody done told him that he don't have to pay all this stuff, and it's his land. Well, he ain't paying his electricity and all that. His power off. And so he tried to use a generator. Listen to these people. The police came and the caseworkers came because the son went to school, said they don't have no power and they be using the bathroom outside. The caseworker, then the social worker came and took his son.
Wow.
See, I tell you, yeah, because he listened to goofy people. Oh man, you don't got to pay this. And so his son that went to school like, yeah, we don't got no power. Man, my dad cook outside.
And then he's not, you can't do that. He doesn't have a full understanding. So why would you be doing that and then put your kid in public school?
See,
You're
see,
nuts.
that's what I said. You messed up. I said you don't have nothing. I said you talk about all this, but you don't even got your own schooling. And you sending your kid to public school, talk about you this, and your son going to public school. All the kids like you stink, and you can't be mad at your son. Your son that's going to school telling the truth. Like at first, we have power and all this. It's like my dad done lost his fucking mind. Why? We don't got no power. He be having all these people in our house and talk about he living off the land and overthrow the government. Man, the social workers came and took his kids. Man, power was off. He had a generator. So he had a generator with his power on. You can't have no generator just running in a local area if the power ain't off and all that, because you can blow your house up. It's so much stuff.
Right.
That's why it's electricity in the local neighborhood. You can't live off the grid in the local neighborhood. You only can live off the grid when you got your own land, because the local
Yep.
and the state law is going to trump it. You can't live off the grid in a house. You can't. I'm sorry. You can't live off the grid with a generator running and all that in a neighborhood. You just can't. You can't. I'm sorry. I don't know why people be thinking that. Just like when it wasn't the Black Wall Street, it was those brothers. I forget that group. And when they came and dropped the bomb in their neighborhood, they killed everybody down there. But because they was trying
Black
to,
Wall Street. No,
It
not
was
Black Rock. That too. So
no, not Black
Oklahoma.
Rock. It'll come to me.
Oh,
It was the
Philly. They did that in Philly
yeah,
too.
yep, they did that in Philly. Them brothers tried to go in the neighborhood now, and you had misnumbered black people. That was their neighbors, and a lot of the black people in the neighborhood was like, "Wait a minute, we don't all agree with how y'all living, how y'all doing all this outside, raising the cattle, got all this. This is a local neighborhood. Y'all don't got y'all own land. They tried to take over a local neighborhood, and so they was living in the neighborhood with other blacks that didn't agree like that. That some went to church. They tried to bring their religious, cultural persona to a local community in the city, and it didn't work like that, and they got bombed. Now, if they was out in their land and like how Dr. York did, I don't think nothing would have happened. It's so much.
Well,
Even
they set the feds for Dr. York. They ran all through
well,
his
see,
land.
and see, like people, a lot of stuff, man. As we close, I love Dr. York teacher. I love the science because I deal with the science. But then
Right.
sometimes absolute power corrupts you absolutely. Because his son and his daughter testified on him, and they recanted. They recant. Because see, people don't know. I got the whole case. It's free information. His son wanted to be in the record business so bad to where he did a lot of stuff. Because remember, Dr. York was in entertainment. He was a singer, had albums, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just like Farrakhan played instruments and things. But you know, me, I'm not finna say I'm guilty on something. Just like you said, I'm gonna fight. I'm not finna plead guilty to no pedophilia. I'm not finna plead guilty
Nope.
to none of the stuff if I didn't do it. I'm not. Well, let's plead to this and get a lesser charge. You ain't. I'm not pleading that. I'm gonna go to court, and if I go to court and I lose going to court, then you lock me up for that. But I ain't finna just go and admit to all this stuff and then say I was falsely accused. That's some bullshit, Simeon. Or what was you? Was you? Did someone push you to say, well, you know what? I'm guilty. No, I'm not guilty. I'm fighting this stuff. And if I lose, so be it. But I'm not going to go willingly and say I was willingly I did this to try to get a lesser charge. Look what happened. Or I will fight it.
Especially when you a pillar in your community. You got
Come
a
on.
whole nation behind you. If forget getting a lesser charge. You can't even think about yourself. You got to think about your legacy
Come
and
on.
your
And
name,
so,
and then your
yep.
people.
And yep. And then if you got, and then if people against you that bad, Noble Simeon, where children and people will come up and say, and women, they'll be like, well, I'm pregnant. And these little young girls was like, I'm pregnant by this person, the same way they tried to say, when Malcolm said Elijah Muhammad had those young girls pregnant. A lot of those brothers did that. And so is everybody lying on Dr. York? That's why I say there's some stuff I just deal with the facts of the case. If people testify, with people lying, did what underage girls come and say they were pregnant by him and the child come out, was it his? Hell yeah. Oh, so when you do DNA tests to these girls and they were pregnant and the baby come out is his, are they lying?
Nope.
Nope. So that's what I always say when people say, "Oh, if they lying on Dr. York," I say, "Listen, man, let's deal with the facts of the matter. Let's deal with all the case because you can get the whole case. I
They
got the whole
must think
case."
they in Saudi Arabia or something with
Huh?
them young girls. They must think they in Saudi Arabia with them young girls.
Ah, now you talking. Now you talking. Now you all this foreign stuff that we do, we bring to our culture. Yes, exactly, and that's how they be getting caught up because they not in that area. We Americans, absolutely, and over here in the United States of America, now we're talking about common law. I'm glad you said it. So back in the day when they try to say Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he had multiple girls, he had young kids. Well, in North Carolina, common law, just like your grandma, she got married to granddad when she was probably 15. Granddad probably was like 30 something because that was common
Hmm.
law in certain areas. So when people just be talking, I'd be like, dude, common law in certain areas at certain times, you got to know the age. But sometimes these brothers be getting this stuff to do that. No disrespect, like polite. The brother was heavy, with knowledge and wisdom.
And
But look what happens. I be knowing these people. I don't diss the wisdom, but what I tell people that when I see stuff, I was like, oh, they getting ready to go down. And I'll be like, what? When you start saying money is your God. Everybody that I know, Simeon, when they put money before everything, when they get into it and they mission change, they get in trouble because they start telling you that money they God. Look what happens. They
tainted.
go,
They become tainted.
they become tainted. It happen.
You
You know,
know,
Dr. York
I'm
had a
not into
beautiful
this. You
thing in
taught us
Atlanta.
to watch out for spookism, but that dollar
Yep.
bill,
But that dollar bill,
them seals and
them
sigils is
seals and
powerful.
signals is powerful.
It is. It is. Well, remember, Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. Wine is made for laughter, but money trumps all. Money is not the root of all the evil. It's the reason why the rich man is rich, and it's the reason why the poor man is poor. Both. So I tell everybody, pick your struggle. But we don't curse a rich man for being rich, and we don't bless a poor man for being poor. Because I know people that got a bag that's righteous. I know, like I know Sadiq Bey that played for the Pistons. He a Moor, you know, whole family Moors. So it's brothers that be on the science. You know, Jalen Rose. I mean, not Jalen Rose, but Derrick Rose a Moor. He wore the soft fez. You know, he wore the
Hmm.
soft fez, teach the science. So it's people that we gotta reach, but you know, we gotta clean up. We gotta clean it up as well. Like even man, I could even R. Kelly ex-wife. You know, I don't know if y'all saw the little clip with her and another podcast dude with your boy Killam on there. A lot what they be doing, they'll get these ladies and stuff that been hurt, and they'll talk a little bit of that stuff because women are convincing. Just like Sabir Bey, they be act like they don't be knowing each other. He had Deion Sanders' wife all caught up in that for a minute. And when Shadur Sanderson was young, I can show y'all the video. They was like, "Well, we Moors, Dad," and they was like, "They was the Bay," because she was trying to extract money from them. Oh man, that's why they be mad when they see me. And Sabir Bey ass was all in the middle of that shit. Yeah, I got all the videos. They like, how do you know all this? Because people used to send me stuff back in the day. And Deion Sanders' wife was Sabir Bey, and he was telling her she can claim her Moorish identity and get this and get that and all that, a whole bunch of shit, man. That's why I be laughing, man. I be trying to be politically correct, but you shouldn't have put the stuff out there. You shouldn't have put the stuff out there. That's why I said put the tape in. And they be like, damn, they're like, that dude, no. I said, yeah, let's put the tape in. Put the tape in. That counselor court stuff with Taj Tariq Bey and them came was like they the counselor court with the bald head dude Shalimar Bey got people all killed, and then they try to act like they wasn't doing that. Yes, they was, because I got the tape. I got the whole thing when they would act like they was the Moorish conflict, and they was nationalizing people. See, and they on and they be mad, and that's like, you don't think these people is federal informants? Everybody else go to jail, but they don't go. They're just like if I was out and I'm selling you heroin and y'all get caught up, you be like, well, damn, why Sheik ain't never get no case? Why he ain't get caught up? He the big time heroin dealer. Damn it, I'm a rat. I'm just speaking in layman terms, and people be getting into the science and get stupid. But if you was in the streets hustling, wouldn't you think the same thing? You'd be like, how we get caught up at Korea, our supplier? Either he the bird man, but he the rat. Duh.
Right.
Come on, people. And I'll be telling
You see,
people you can't.
they're not experienced with it because they haven't been to your world before. If you got a
Yes.
plug that never gets caught and you always getting caught, you know you know that plug is
I'm
a
only talking.
rat.
Look, I'm talking from experience. I don't want to say it, but I can't. I'm telling you, dude. It's like, wait a minute. You like how the package, how we go pick up the shipment and get in here. As soon as we get in, boom, 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 the feds here. Like, what the fudge? Like, come on. Who told? Who told? The plug told. That's how he
The
out.
plug.
He got to give up somebody every time. These movies the art be depicted, movies be depicting real life. The plug got to turn people in every so often. You got to turn in the underbosses in every so often. That's how you out. That's how you think they're gonna keep getting cases. They can't lock all the kingpins up. The kingpin got to turn what? Federal informant. He got to turn to the federal informant to get all these other people out. I can keep you out, but I got to keep getting arrested, dude. I've been there. I've seen it. I know people out right now that's Moors right now with that fez on and they rats. And I hate to say it. And you can see it. They'll be like, damn, they ain't gonna say nothing on me because they know I know they real government name. And I looked up your case and I know that you a federal informant. That's why nobody gonna come on my page. None of them old, they used to at first. I had a dude jump on my page one day, was like, who your Sheik think he is? Dr. York and this, that, and the other. And an elder jumped in his page and ripped him a new butt. That dude jumped in my page. I want to apologize to you, Sheik. You know, I was just mad. And I said, you ain't got to apologize to me.
I know these people real names, man. I be getting so many emails when Moors be act like I'm supposed to help them, Simeon. Man, my daughter got taken. You need to help me get my case back. Man, I don't even know you. You know? Can you supposed to look at my case? You the sheik, and this my case, and this. I don't even know you. Like, what are you talking about? And that's what I be getting. I said, dude, I can say much more, but I know a lot of these people be federal informants, and that's why they ain't gonna come on my page because I know their real name. I know most of these, like, no disrespect, a lot of these people been around for a long time, like Sabir Bey. I don't got nothing bad to say about the dude, but he been around for a long time. I know rhetoric, you know. It's no disrespect to no one, you know. But a lot of stuff is truth and falsehood strangely mixed, and you just got to be careful with this stuff. That's all, because everybody, this more science became popular in 2000 during COVID. 2020, y'all know that's when this stuff really got popular, when everybody was sitting at home. Y'all know it, and I know it. Let's just be honest. And once we be honest, we can really move further. People got into this more science not from no Noble Drew Ali, not from no more science temple. They got in this from the Conscious channel, from watching Sonetta, from watching Polite, from watching Young Pharaoh and them, and all that. And all the rest of them brothers and sisters that were in the conscious community. That's where everybody got into this from. So they got to be honest, and I can deal with honest. And that RV Bay Publishing, let's keep it 100. And when we keep it 100, we can move further, you know. But if we not, all this stuff gonna be happening over and over. What, the same repeated stuff? Because people not really having real conversations. You say, well, let's deal with this. Let's deal with this. Like, I love to have real sit downs with Killam, with Don Killam, and with Jonah Bay and them. But they know for a fact they're gonna be like, man, I'm not gonna sit with this dude. I already know, because I'm not gonna disagree with nothing. I'm just gonna ask a question, because it ain't nothing I gotta disagree with. You know what I mean? Because I ain't here to do that. I'm gonna ask a question because I don't believe none of this shit. It's others that believe it. So I'm just gonna ask questions, and they ain't gonna be, and they can't answer none of the questions. That's all. And then I'm gonna ask them to open up the portfolio, and all the stuff they telling you to do, they should have done it. So if all the stuff that you telling me to do and you ain't done it, dude, I really can't ride with that. And more science is not gonna get you no Lamborghini. It's not. More science not gonna get you no Lamborghini or no big house. And even in the state of Florida, Simeon, squatters have no rights. And I tried to tell another noble this as well. I said, okay. And I did this with my noble Brian. I said, anybody look it up right now. This dude on the internet. I said, what state you live in? Florida. So you got all these people in Florida thinking they finna squat in the house. And I said, now, squatters have no right in Florida. Dude looked it up, called me. He was like, well, why this nigga out here with this fez on teaching this shit in the state of Florida? I said, well, my mufti live in Florida. Or hit him up, he'll tell you. We got the proof squatters have no rights. So let's play devil's advocate. And this the last thing, and we out. Boom. So you squat in the house in the state of Florida. You ain't do your due diligence to see who owned the house. Boom, you squat in my house. My house ain't foreclosed. I own the house. So you done squatted in my house, and then you get an attorney, and the attorney tell you to go get a damn lease, an eviction lease to evict a tenant. Right, Simeon? Right, Brian?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why? Why in the hell would you listen to this goofball attorney and lawyer to tell you to go get a piece of paperwork, which is a official document, eviction notice for a tenant? Why? This person not even a tenant. So why would any attorney get you to go get that paperwork to fill this out, the eviction notice for a tenant? They know that's litigation. They know it's going to take so long for them to get them out. Yeah, thank you, Brian, for them to get paid. You don't do that. That's a third party contract. What they did is broken entered. Squatters have no rights in Florida. So what I'm gonna do with my security, I'm coming and I'm dragging, excuse my candor, I'm gonna say it just like this. With my security team, I'm dragging your ass out by your head. I'm gonna call the police first to say somebody done broken our place, and our armed security coming. You better hope the police get there before we do. We come in, we busting your head wide open. Now, how about that? Why? And we ain't gonna get in trouble. Why? Because you broke it. We got our own security team. You can't. Squatters have no rights in the state of Florida. But brothers do not like to listen. I said, okay, you're gonna go to jail. I just broke down laws how you can get houses and things. State laws, okay. In certain places like Florida, say if you look up a house and you say, oh, the city own this, or say if you do want to do that, because you can do certain things. And that's what I want to be right, Simeon. People can do reverse claims, but you have to have at least 10 years. And look at this, every state is different, of you paying the bills, maintaining this house, keeping a consumer zone, 10 years for that to happen. Certain places it might be 7, depending on the state, without no interference. Without interference, you got to be able to have records of that, and then you can get the place. But then that's a long time. So say if the neighbors, you going through things, that's a long time of you having residence of the place. So you just can't make up your own laws. But is it ways to do things? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. In the city of Flint, if it's an abandoned house, if say the bank don't own it, they lost it, and it's sitting in the neighborhood. I never tell people to go and try to do that in no mansion. Why you want to do it to a mansion? You can't even afford it. I go in my neighborhood where don't nobody want the stuff in your neighborhood, where all your people live at, where people tearing up your stuff. Go in your local community and do that in your local community and build it back up. And Noble Simeon, it's certain pieces of paperwork, and I'll talk about the specifics later, and y'all can look this up, like in Philadelphia and other states. It's certain pieces of paperwork that you can get from the city, fill it out, and you can get these pieces of property donated to you. And you know, you can say you want to fix back up the city. It's ways to get this stuff done, but you have to be willing to do it the right way. I promise you, it's just you got to know the certain contracts to do the right. And it don't got nothing to do with no more science. You know, it's ways that stuff can be done. So yeah, y'all, thanks for this bill. And let's just keep going with this cipher, man, and gratitude, y'all.
Gratitude.
Peace and love, man. Gratitude, Brian. Can you get us our prayer, Brian, before we out of here?
Islam. Allah, Father of the universe, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protection, our God, my salvation, my night and my day. Who was the prophet, who I lead, shalom, I ask, Allah, Islam, amen.
Peace. Love y'all, man. Peace and love. Peace.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of meager means. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dreams. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't really. It ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun, it's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay